מה קורה חברים? מה העניינים? שנייה. שנייה איתכם. שמתי קצת שירים, זהו. אני פה, מעניינים, אלשי, מעניינים, אחי יקר, שבת שלום, חיים של היפים האלה. וואל, מעניינים אחי. פורני, מעניינים, מה קורה? נצפה בסאמר קאפ? כן, אם אתם רוצים שנצפה ביחד, אין לי בעיה, אבל אם יהיה פה צופים והכל, ונצפה ביחד, אין לי בעיה. אין לי בעיה בכלל. זה בשבע היום. אני חושב שזה או בשבע או בשמונה, אני כמעט בטוח. איזה איבנט יש שם מחכה? יש את האיבנט היום של הסאמר קאפ, של האירופה, שזה מהיום מחר, וזה נראה לי היום מחר, כאילו זה מהיום עד יום ראשון. אני כמעט בטוח. בשבע יותר טוב, בוא נקווה שזה יהיה בשבע. אני אשחק עד שבע. נראה כמה אני צריך לעשות. כן, זה 3 ימים טורניר טסלר. אולי נגד שחקן טורקי? לא נראה לי שיש... לא, אין שחקן טורקי אחי באיבנט של אירופה. אין. זה רק בסוני כן. כל מי שיש קול נגד רזק הוא שחקן אקסבוקס, נכון? אז העבירו אותו לסוני. כולם בסוני, כאילו, זה איבנט רק של סוני. אתה מבין? גם פלדמן נגיד בחודש הבא באוגוסט, אם הוא היה שחקן סוני, אם הוא היה שחקן אקסבוקס, אז הוא היה צריך לעבור לסוני, אתה מבין? זה לא. טורקים אצלנו, כן, הם אצלנו, במידליסט. מכבי מעניינים אחי. היום יש את המשחק של אשטג תום וליליטו, כן, היום. איבנטים באקסבוקס לא אחי, הם עברו פשוט לזה. הם עברו לסוני. רז, מעניינים אחי, מה קורה? מה קורה? אני רוצה לבדוק שנייה את הטקטיקס. מי הפייבוריט שלך תום? שלי, אני רוצה את גורילה. אבל נראה לי הוא בלוזר ברקט, אני כמעט בטוח. שנייה, אני איתכם. שנייה, אני איתכם, שנייה אחת, מצטער. זהו, אני פה. וואלה, חברים, 18 צופים, תודה רבה לכל מי שפה. תום ממש טוב, כן, תום ממש טוב. לא יודע אם הוא יזכה, הוא ליליטו גם טוב נגיד השנה, אבל לא יודע, בוא נראה מה יהיה. כאילו זה לא, זה איבנט של 3 ימים, היום זה רק יום הראשון. אז בואו נראה את הגמר, אבל נראה, אם אתם רוצים ויהיה פה צופים וכאלה וירצו לראות, אז למה לא? אין לי בעיה לראות אתכם. אני רוצה לבדוק שנייה את הטקטיקס שלי. לא נראה לי, בסדר. רז, לא יודע. נתן, מנהלים לכם, מה קורה? בואו שמח פה דבר גם. כן. הלוזר כאילו צריך לנצח איזה פעמיים. משהו כזה נראה לי. רציתי גם, נראה לי, לשנות כדור. לא יודע אם לשנות אותו, בסוף לא משנה. עלה מדריד עלה, עלה עלה, עלה מדריד עלה, עלה מדריד עלה, עלה מדריד עלה, עלה עלה, פה פה לא פה 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 לא פה פה. נגחנו אליפות. לא חושב שאני דפוק, אני מת. מישהו לא לגמר, מלוזר ברקט ייקח. לא חושב, לא נראה לי. מלוזר ברקט? לא יודע, לא חושב בעצם, לא חושב. איזה אליפות! חשובה, חשובה ומרגשת. מרגשת מאוד. מה זה? היא צריכה לקחת את הפוט סנטרל, זה מציג בעין? מה זה פוט סנטרל? מה קורה יובל? מקווה שאתה מרגיש טוב היום. זה לא מתחיל מ-0 היום, כן. אני יודע, יש מישהו, יש שחקנים בלוזר ברקט ויש שחקנים בווינר ברקט. בווינר ברקט יש את אוליליטו ואשטג תום. כל השאר נראה לי בלוזר ברקט, משהו כזה. אני לא כל כך הבנתי את הפורמט, האמת. עכשיו מה שזה היה, זה לא היה משדר כאילו, רק יום... כן, רק היום יהיה משדרים... רק היום יהיה משדרים את הטורניר, את האיבנט הזה. את המשחקים הקודמים הם שידרו בטוויץ' שלהם, אתה מבין? וואלה, שיחקתי שנים. Money in the glove. No. Let's go. טקסאף, כן, טקסאף. וואלה, טקס לא שיחק פיפא רציני, נראה לי בערך איזה חצי שנה. משהו כזה. וואלה, גם מבין אותו, משחק רע. לא כיף לשחק אותו. ועוד מתי אנשים מניעים. יובל, תרגיש טוב אחי. למה כאילו כל הקבוצה שלי מאחורי הכדור? נעים, מה קורה? מה קורה אחי יקר? נשבע ההגדרות מצלמה הכי גבוה של טלפון זה גובה הכי גבוה. אני אישית לא אוהב. יש את האלה כאילו שעושים בגובה 20 ו... בהיי 20 ובזום 0. אבל אני אישית לא אוהב, לא יודע. אני אוהב רגיל. מה יובל? לא הבנתי אותך אחי, מה איך? מתי משדרג את אוסביו? וואלה לא יודע, שלי קוינס. גם לא כזה כבר אכפת לי את האמת. השיא ותו. לא, הטעות שלי. Money in the club. זה דריבל. מה קרה יובל? מה שכחת? אני מת. לא, אופסייד. מתי מתחיל האיבנט? אני חושב שזה מתחיל ב7, אם לא ב7 זה ב8 בטוח. אני צריך לבדוק בטוויטר אני אבדוק אחרי המשחק נראה לי. ואז יהיה לי תשובה יותר ברורה. כן, זה בו 7 או 8, אני כמעט בטוח שזה 7. אני אבדוק אחרי זה בטוויטר. מה זה? פנדל. איבנט של מה זה? של פיפא אחי. אני מת. זה הסאמר קאפ. לא, נו. אני מרגיש מה זה חלוד. נשבע. מה זה? תופס בי בחולצה, שופט. מיליטאו לא מתאים אחי יקר. לא, נו. לא, לא של פיפא 21, אני מת. לא של פיפא 21, אחי פיפא 20 של הסאמר קאפ. יואו. מה אני עושה? לא באתי. מה? יצחק 34 כוכבים, כן. סוף סוף אחי, סוף סוף. גם אליפות, נשבע אליפות מרגשת. עם כל הקורונה הזאת וכל הזה, קצת שמחה, משהו. יאיר, מה נהיה אחי? מה קורה? יואו. רדבול, מה נהיה מכם? מה קורה? מי ייקח באוקראינה? מה לא הבנתי אחי? באוקראינה? יצחק הדובר לשדר בטוויץ' אתה הופך לזינג זנג זונג של הטוויץ', אני מת. שמע טוב, אני בעולם שאתה משחק עוד. משחק אחי, משחק, מה יש לעשות? שישי צהריים, לא נשחק? נשחק. מה מאזן? אני 2-0 אחי. כל אני עושה בדרך כלל לא יודע, נגיד שבוע שעבר סיימתי 22 נשאר לי 8 משחקים, לא המשכתי. אחרי אני חוזר אותו מאוחר, בהצלחה בלייב. תודה רבה אחי, תודה רבה. תודה רבה. אני כאילו לא הייתי 20, לא הייתי 22-2, הייתי 20 ניצחונות ושתי הפסדים ולא המשכתי. בטח שראיתי. זכינו באליפות. Let's go. יותר כמה משחקים היום, וואלה לא יודע, כאילו זורמים כזה, זורמים.
וואלה זה טירוף, אני פרסמתי את המכונית שלי ביד 2 ומכרתי אותה. טיק טק טיק טק טיק טק טיק טק טיק טק טק. כשיש 20 מיליון כניסות ויותר מ-200,000 מודעות חדשות בחודש, מה הפלא שביד 2 קונים ומוכרים טיק טק? יש יד 2.
קיץ חם במינוי בייס. רק למינויי הבייס ולמצטרפים חדשים, הגרלות מיוחדות של 30,000 שקלים בכל חודש למשך 3 שנים.
לא משנה מה מימון.
נכון, 30,000 שקלים בכל חודש למשך 3 שנים. להצטרפות חייגו כוכבית 3990 או בנקודות המכירה. המכירה אסורה למי שטרם מלאו לו 18. אזהרה, הימורים עלולים להיות ממכרים. הזכייה תלויה במזל בלבד. כפוף לתקנון, זכיות חייבות במס.
ברח לי פה.
עם כל הכבוד למוזיקה שאתם מאזינים לה, בתכלס אין על הפלייליסט של הטבע. עשו עכשיו מינוי מטמון, ותיהנו מכניסה חינם ל-60 גנים לאומיים ושמורות טבע, ואין ספור חוויות משפחתיות. מינוי מטמון, 60 ימים של חופש גדול, 60 אתרים...
איזה גול חרטה.
בקטנה, המינוי הוא לכל השנה. לפרטים ולרכישה ייכנסו לאתר רשות הטבע והגנים.
שעות, יאללה. רק עם האופסט רק עוד שנייה. לא. יואו, אני יודע מה הולך לעשות. הורג אותי. אני מת, כן. איזה גאון אתה? לא, לא. הוא עצר אותו, לא מאמין. את הדורנר של AA ואיפה הוא משודר. אני צריך לבדוק בטוויטר, אז שכחתי לבדוק. זה אמור להתחיל או ב7 או ב8. וזה משודר בטוויץ' שלהם. יש איבנט, אחי. לא, חזרתי. כן, אם יהיה פה כאלה שירצו אני יכול לשדר, אין לי בעיה. לשדר את המשחקים ונצפה ביחד, אין לי בעיה. אז מה עוד שמה אומר? וואלה אחי... וואלה רגיל, לא יודע. משחקים פה ושם. מעניין מה יהיה פיפא 21 עם הסוני 5 והכל. מעניין מה יהיה. שוב. הפיפא תצא לפני הסוני, כן. הפיפא יוצאת באוקטובר והסוני יוצא בנובמבר, אני חושב. וואו, מניע כדור. פאול? פאול. איי. איפה הריכוז של ההפלות, אה? באמת. יש איבנט שלי, של הסאמר קאפ, זה הטורנירים במקום האיבנטים כאילו במתחם בחול, אז כאילו עושים את זה באונליין. איך? מה? משחק בהפלות, אתה משחק מהמתחם. השנה כן, השנה שחקתי את כל ההפלות מהמתחם. וואלה, יש יותר אווירה, יותר כיף כזה, לא יודע. פחות משעמם כזה, יש אנשים שאיתך, עוזרים לך וכאלה, אתה מבין? לא יודע, זה יותר כיף, מאשר לשחק כאילו מהבית. לא, מה יש לי? זה לא מרוכז, בעיה. איך? וואלה, אמרת שהפסדתי משחק שלישי או רביעי. מה זה הפוטמאס? זה משחק רע, זה אני יכול. לא יודע, מחליף לקופ. מרגיש שיש לי פוטנציאל עם הקופ, לא יודע למה. לא יודע. אבל תמשיך, למה? איזה יופי. איזה יופי. זה חופר. יואו. טוב, די. לא. לא מאמין. איזה... אני בסוני אחי, יש לך טיפים איך להשתפר. בעיקר לצפות בשחקנים טובים ולחוש את המשחק. למרות שעכשיו אני לא הייתי ממליץ את זה, כי לחוש את המשחק עכשיו אין טעם. אבל בכללי, כן, זה זה סיימון, לא ראיתי. טוב, הערכה. על איזה מצלמה אתה משחק? אני משחק על טלה ברודקאסט. אבל נראה לי אני רוצה להחליף לקופ. לא יודע. לא יודע, מרגיש כאילו יש לי פוטנציאל איתה, אבל לא יודע, לא נראה, לא יודע. נראה לי נשאר ככה כבר וזהו. לא יודע. טיפים ביולי. כן, בגלל זה אמרתי, עכשיו כבר אין טעם כל כך, אבל... בפיפא 21.
תעוררו על הפנסיה שלכם. הצטרפו בדיגיטל או אצל הסוכן לאלטשולר שחם פנסיה נבחרת. אלטשולר שחם, מחויבים למקצוענות.
אין בעמור תחליף לייעוץ פנסיוני מתחייבות להשגת תשואות.
אנחנו חפרים, וואו. מה? מה זה היה? איזה מזל. סאמר, מה נהנים אחי? מה קורה? אני רוצה לבדוק בטוויטר באיזה שעה האיבנט. בוא נראה. איפה אני רואה את זה? גורילה נגד יומית. גורילה נגד יומית. נראה לי זה בשבע, כן. אני לא בטוח שזה בשבע. אני לא רואה שרשום. אני לא רואה שרשום, אבל נראה לי ששבע. וואי, שידור קודם, איך רונן פלש לשידור, וואו. איזה טירוף זה היה. שוב. אתם גם מוזמנים לעקוב באינסטגרם, מי שרוצה. אני מלא שם סטורים על הפיפא, כל מיני, על החיים האישיים גם. איזה גול חרוטה, אני מת, איזה גול חרוטה. אני מת, אוהד. סאמר ברוך, תודה רבה על הסאב, אחי. אני זוכר אותך, על הסאב, על העוקב באינסטגרם. עכשיו בדיוק ראיתי. אתה מהצ'אט, כן. מה זה בפה האדום המחשיד הזה? וואלה, שיצא לי אותו אפילו לא התרגשתי. נשבע. נעשה משחק אחרון אתם אומרים, ולבדוק בשעה 7 אם יש את הלייב. מה אתם אומרים? נעשה משחק אחרון? מה יש לך? יש כאלה שהיו מתרגשים עם איזה שיא. גמור. יש את האיבנט שלי יהיה, אז אם אנשים ירצו אני יכול נצפה בזה ביחד, סליחה. קלאסי. סבבה, סבבה, אז נעשה עכשיו משחק אחרון ונחכה ל7, נראה אם יש את השידור. בואו, נראה לי כל המשחקים, אני כמעט בטוח, זה משחקי חוץ, עד עכשיו שחקתי. אני כמעט בטוח. זה לא סטרייק, אחי, השידור של EA, מה זאת אומרת? אורך שלי, איך זה הולך? האיבנט, תסביר קצת. זה נקרא סאמר קאפ, בגלל שאי אפשר לטוס והכל, עשו איבנט אונליין של 12 הכי טובים באירופה. ה-12 הכי טובים באירופה, וזהו פחות או יותר. אני מת. זה מי שנגדי כאילו? זה לא מישהו נגדי נראה לי, רוב הקבוצה שלי גם זה לא אנטרד. לא. לא, זה נראה לי מי שהיה נגדי עכשיו. זה נראה לי משחק קודם כאילו, סליחה. זה נראה לי מי שהיה נגדי משחק קודם. מה בטוח. יואו. רגע, אני יכול בכלל לשדר אותו אבל את השידור שלי יהיה עם הערוץ שלי. אני יכול... בסאב, לא. שלא יתנו לי פתאום איזה בן לערוץ או משהו. עכשיו נזכרתי בזה בדיוק. אני יכול לשדר, נכון? לא עשו לי כלום, כאילו לא... בואו, צא. בטח, תבדוק בזה, נראה לי שכן. נראה לך שכן שאפשר, נראה לך שכן שאי אפשר. אני אבדוק את זה אבל. אין בעיה לשדר. אם נון גיימינג אופן שאומרים שכן, אז שכן. בטח זה גל, אז אני יודע. אל תגידי שזה מה וואלה, גל לא נעלם, אחי. נו, מה יש השנה משחקים קשים פתאום? אל תגידי שזה יו קיקו, מה זה זה? No. Perfect shot. אני מת. שידור שלהם עוד 9 דקות. בדוק. סבבה. אז אחרי המשחק. מוזמנים להישאר, לראות נצפה ביחד בטורניר. מי שרוצה. דניאל! איפה אתה אחי? איפה אתה? רק בבסיס. רק רזק. רזק לא יודע, אני לא יודע, כאילו, הוא כל שנה ממש טוב. כאילו, הוא מגיע תמיד איזה טופ 10 כזה. אבל לא יודע, אין לו את ה... חסר לו הליטוש הזה. כן, דניאל, כן.
ויותר מ-200,000 מודעות חדשות בחודש, מה הפלא שביד 2 קונים ומוכרים טיק טק? יש יד 2.
אשטג תום בפנים, גורילה בפנים, וטס אחי, טס באנגובר עוד. הוא כוכב, כן הוא כוכב. מי פבוריט שלך? אני רוצה מעדיף את גורילה אחי. פאנבוי של גורילה. וואי, בדיוק הגענו ל5 ניצחונות. פנן. נימי 8-0. ארז 5-0, פלמן 5-0, מונס 5-0. טס, כן, לא, טס שנה שעברה עד העדכון בינואר, הוא היה הכי גרוע שראיתי. מאז, מהעדכון בינואר הוא היה יחסית טוב מאוד. באי קלאב עם מינו הגיעו לחצי גמר, אני חושב, חצי גמר אפילו הוא גמר, אני כל כך בטוח. וזהו. בואו נראה שנייה, אני בודק בטוויץ', חכו. waiting for a second. הנה כן, התחילו שידור, בואו נראה. בדרך יש טיימר או משהו. הנה בואו תראה. מה זה? טוב שנייה, אני מעביר את זה לחלון של אני מעביר את זה לסצנה של המחשב, שנייה. זהו, חכו. עכשיו אתם רואים. שנייה, אני אעביר את הצ'אט, אני אעשה כמו פעם קודמת. נעבור הצ'אט לחלון חדש. ככה. ככה. טוב מאוד. בפיפא 17 טס היה הכי טוב שראיתי. טוב, הנה, תראו. זה... שנייה. זהו. תראו, אירופה עכשיו... מה זה? מה זה היום? זה לא יודע. סאוט אמריקה, אסיה, נורט אמריקה, וזה מידל איסט אנד אפריקה, שזה פה פלדמן מתחרה בין השביעי לאוגוסט עד התשיעי לאוגוסט. פה הוא מתחרה. אתם מבינים? אוסטרליה וניו זיאלנד קנדה. סבבה. לא הבנתי מה זה המדינה הזאת. וואלה, לא הבנתי למה שמו את אירופה הראשונים. אירופה זה הכי מעניין, היו שמים אותם אחרונים. אירופה הכי מעניין, אז לא הבנתי למה לא שמו אותם אחרונים פשוט. פלדמן יהיה על מלא MSK, יהיה לו את ה-200 ומעלה לפחות. שנייה, אני אשנה שנייה את הכותרת. בואו נסביר ביחד. שנייה. זהו, אני פה. יצחק, לדעתך מי יותר טוב, דוסרי או טקס? וואו, שאלה מעניינת. אני אישית אוהבת יותר סגנון משחק של טקס בגלל הסקילים, אבל לא יודע, דסארי נראה לי הוא יותר תכלס כזה, אתה מבין למה אני מתכוון? הוא מת לראות אותך באיבנט שלי, יהיה, אתה חייב להביא אותו בקלאץ' באיזה הפלות. בעזרת השם אחי, שנה הבאה. בעזרת השם. הנה אתם רואים סאמר קאפ סיריס, אירופ. שנייה. נעלם לי הצ'אט. אני יודע שאתם לא רואים אותי, אבל לא יודע, לפי דעתי אתם לא צריכים כל כך לראות אותי, כי אין טעם. אז רק תשמעו אותי. דקה, אני גם רוצה לשמוע במאזניות שלי, שנייה. שנייה, אני מוציא את המוזיקה. זהו. עכשיו אני אתחיל ממאזניות. שומעים, אתם שומעים את המוזיקה כזאת? אתם שומעים מוזיקה? אני נראה לי מדבר חזק מדי, כי אני מאזניות גם, אני מת. כן, דסארי יותר תכלס, מגיע לרגעים הגדולים. שומעים? אתם שומעים את המנגינה הזאת? כולי פה רגל על רגל, אני מת. יאללה, 7 שניות, 6 שניות, שנייה. נעשה ככה. כאילו הצ'אט זה שלנו. הופה. יאללה, קדימה. גורילה! וואו, איזה רגע מרגש זה היה מקודם, מי שלא ראה. וואו, פלדמן איזה מרגש זה יהיה לו? נשבע. זה יהיה לו מרגש. כמה רגש, כמה עוצמה. דולן מייק, שחקן דולן מייק. נראה זה, קוליבולי. מאסטרו, שחקן מטורף. מאסטרו בין הטובים גם, מאסטרו. גם שומעים מהאוורר. כן, זה כנראה המיקרופון שלי. אולי אני אמיך קצת למיקרופון. זהו. תגידו אם אתם שומעים יותר טוב.
Hello everyone and welcome to the first day of the very first event of the FIFA 20 Summer Cup Series. I'm Jimmy Conrad alongside the dynamic duo of Spencer Owen and Mike LaBelle, and we're going to start these very special tournaments in Europe, where 24 of the best players in this region are going to battle it out to be crowned the European champion. Now gentlemen, honestly, I've got two reasons why I love these events. The first is because I love seeing people be amazing at their craft and be some of the best players in the world. And second, I love hanging out with you guys. It's been too long. How are you doing, Spencer?
I'm doing great, Jimmy. Thank you, mate. Love hanging out with you guys. Obviously, we've been lucky enough to do this a few times over the last few months, but this feels like a return.
הוא משדר, הוא עכשיו מצלם מה השטג HQ, זה מהמתחם שלהם. וואלה, יש להם מתחם מטורף.
However, this is, we've got a prize pot. You know, we've got the best players coming head to head from Europe, and it feels like we're going to find out some stuff about some players over the next few days. We're going to find out what they've got. We're going to find out if they've been
בינתיים כל אחד שייתן לייק, שייתן סאב, זה חשוב. ואני 2 דקות מגיע.
So I'm very excited to be here.
And Mike, how about you? How are you feeling?
Well, I'll tell you what. It's nice to be missed, Jimmy. I appreciate that you wanted my company here and joining alongside our virtual analyst/hosting desk. But I'm looking forward to the action and kind of to echo what Spencer was saying. This is the return to competitive FIFA. Guys have still been grinding the game. We've had summer heat foot items. Why not have the Summer Cup? I want to see some of these guys in action, on display at the highest level. Give me some back and forth. Want high scoring affairs.
I think we're going to see it. We have a lot of talented players that know how to hit the back of the net. Let's take a look at the leaderboards first, starting with PS4. And as a reminder, we only have the top 12 Europeans on each console here. And this leaderboard is going to show everybody globally.
That's right. These are the top 20 PlayStation 4 players as we kind of ended the competitive series a few months ago. So Clash Crazy from Italy, number 1. Obviously, Zazinho in number 2 as a Brazilian will not be taking part in this event.
Clash Crazy הזה לא יודע איך הוא מקום ראשון,
the
באמת
top
אין לי
12
מושג.
were invited
יש
to take
לכם
part. Some of them have
זזיניו
already
שהוא
been
טוב,
eliminated,
הכפתור
we'll go on to
מטורף.
explain soon.
יומיץ'
Obviously,
שהוא גם
hashtag Tom,
השנה
champion
התגלה
of
בתור
number
שחקן
3
טוב.
as the top UK player
מאסטרו.
there. And you've got Germans, you've got French players, you've got European talent
פיפא
across the
הגיע
board in the
לגמר
top 10.
עכשיו
As we go into the
בטורניר הראשון.
second 10, if you like, 11th place to 20th, we've got more European faces. Ethan obviously recently signed with Gareth Bale's 11's team. We've got Ollie Bolly, a Swedish player who's had a good breakout year, has to be said. Principe, far from a breakout year for him, he's been around for a little bit. The Italians, Stallions still going strong. Of course, we recognise names such as Gravison and Stokes as well. There's plenty of quality in the top 20.
Yeah, lots of quality on PS4. Mike, talk us through Xbox, because again, we have the top 20 players that we're going to show globally.
וואלה, לא יודע איך Clash Crazy הזה
that
מקום
are
ראשון.
participating in this tournament today.
נשבע.
I'm so happy that you asked. When you're looking at Xbox, a lot of the household names, I feel like Xbox has had so many winners over the years. We did see
כן, זה מוזר,
a
סתם.
PS4 champion and a Foot Champions Cup finally, but Fnatic Tex, Inrasic, Olilito, we even have Max the American, of course,
טוב,
he
פה יש
had
לכם
teamed
את
up
טקס,
with Jox,
שומע
which
על
helped a
כולם
lot with
פה.
their point allocation. Footwiz, Lyrics, we're going to see
רזק,
in
דסארי,
action.
דיוגו.
Facing
דיוגו
off
ממש טוב,
soon-
דיוגו
soon to be
טוב,
facing off
אוליליטו
against
גם
Diogo,
מטורף
which is a
השנה.
matchup that I'm very much so looking
יש לכם
forward
את
to,
ליריקס,
between
ליריקס
high scoring and maybe a little more defensive
הוא
and a
ממש טוב
structured
גם.
player. But these are all guys that we are very familiar with in the competitive
יש
scene.
פה
And then we're
גורילה,
looking at the second half
פאנבוי,
here,
דולן
or
מייק,
rounding out the
מינו
top
גם
20.
ממש טוב.
Dolan Mike, the deepest voice in FIFA esports,
הנה,
is
איזי
what I like
פאוור.
to rebrand him to. Huge
איזי
gorilla
פאוור,
who's
אנחנו
kind
פוגשים
of
אותו
been
אנחנו גם,
quiet in some ways. People
כאילו,
don't talk about him as much this year,
מהישראלים,
but he's
בהפעלות.
still in the tournament. He's ready to make a run. And I
גורילה
feel like he's
בלוזר
got that
ברקט, אני
hunger
חושב.
back after winning in 2017 to go with Sakul, Megabit, who
אני גם לא
might be a
תופס
little bit of a
ממנו
surprise
מקלאש
that
קרייזי.
he's actually just rounding out the top 20.
אני
We're
גם לא
kind of
תופס
used to
ממנו.
Megabit being not only a household name, but running the show in Germany, always being
וואלה,
in
אבל עשו את
the
זה
top
יפה
10
ככה
and having a chance
עם
to be in the
החלונות,
semis
כאילו,
or the finals of different
שמדברים.
events.
All right, so we've
Good,
seen a
yeah,
list
fair.
of the top players, and I appreciate all the insight on both the PS4 and Xbox. Let's take a look at how this tournament is going to be set up, because I think we've been used to the Swiss format in previous competitions, but Spencer, this is a little bit different.
טוב.
This is different, Jim. You're right. As we've mentioned, the top 12 players from Europe, from each console, are invited to compete in this tournament. And players enter into one 24-player double elimination bracket, which basically means if you lose a game, you're not out. It's not a straightforward knockout situation. You've got a chance to work your way back in. As long as you only lose that one game, you can still find your way through to the final and win the whole tournament. So it gives you a second chance.
ראו איזה
All
משחק
matches
עם
will be
בסאמר
played
עם
as
בנזמה
two legs
ומודריץ',
in
נכון,
friendly
ראיתי את זה גם.
competition game mode.
וגם משחק עם עוד שחקן מוזר.
All right, there's the
שכחתי איך
tournament
קוראים לו.
structure. Now, Mike, there's a lot of cheddar at stake here. Walk us through the prize money.
Yeah, perhaps my favorite part. We're talking about winning $15,000 this
מקום
weekend.
ראשון זוכה
Second place at
ב-15,000,
12K, third it
מקום
was
שני
9,
12,000,
fourth was
מקום
6, and
שלישי
so forth and so on.
9,000,
But it's so important
6.
because, as Spencer was just saying, this is double elimination.
תחומים,
And you
באמת,
have a winner and a loser bracket. Every
מכובדים
game
מאוד,
that you
באמת
win, you could
מכובדים.
almost double your prize pool or even increase it by a little bit more. And that's
ליריקס
really a
עם
nice
טקטית
bonus. And it goes
של מי?
into the game where you're
כולם
playing against
חוץ
your opponent where
מליטה
you don't
וטום
want to lose.
בלוזר.
And it's always that battle of
יכול להיות.
who's going to be stronger mentally,
להיות.
who's going to handle those situations better. But I see a lot of money on the line. There's a lot that's at stake.
יאללה חברים, תנו
Yeah,
לייק.
lots of money here, and it all starts actually. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but PlayStation puts on a weekly PS4 tournament all year long. And this is for players of all skill levels, and that actually, this is probably my favorite part. You can participate from the comfort of your own home on your couch and potentially in your pajamas, whatever gives you good luck. So make sure you go and make that happen. Go to
הטורנירים של טלסלר נראה לי.
PlayStation.com to learn more. But also, this is where you start, you do the weekly qualifiers, and you make the monthly final, then you move on to the monthly champion, and then maybe one day, you'll deserve to be in one of these Summer Cup Series events in the future.
That's right, the series started March 30th, goes all the way to December 31st, last day of the
איך
year.
לסר עם אירופה, אבל
The
יצחק
weekly
הוא
competitions for all skill
במידליסט.
levels.
הוא
So I
במידליסט
would
אחי,
say if
הכל
you
טוב,
were to
סתם
take
הראו את הדירוג.
your competitive FIFA playing up a notch and put yourself in an environment where you know you're playing against other people that are doing the same thing, then this is a great place to start. And like I say, you can compete against your
כן,
friends.
זה הטורנירים שלך,
And rivals
טסטר,
for
אני לא
unique rewards.
חשבתי.
There's some really good rewards out there.
כאילו גם
There's
אמרתי.
things like dynamic themes and avatars, in-game currency, but also cash prizes. So
תאמר,
lots
מעניינים
to
אחי,
look
מה קורה?
forward to.
And if that wasn't enough, you get to join Brandon, you get to join Rich, and you're able to come together with them.
אם אתם לא שומעים חזק, אני
the
אגביר,
bad, the
תגידו
in
לי.
between, and everything gets broadcasted from PlayStation.
Yeah, that's again, compete.playstation.com to sign up and learn more, and we wish you the best of luck in advance. We hope you get to play in one of these FIFA 20 Summer Cup Series events in the future. All right, now let's talk about this double elimination format because this competition actually started on July 1st. And we had it here. Here's the winner's bracket. Tell us a little bit, Spencer. I'll start with you because you're a winner to me.
As long as I'm a winner to you, I'm good. Okay, so you can see the winner's bracket. So this basically means the people that are winning and continuing to win are going to make their way to the right side of the bracket, if you like. You can see the two names on the
אז
far
כאילו,
right.
תום
and
נגד
Olilito,
אוליליטו.
okay? So what these two guys have done is they've played
בגמר.
their way into a latter stage of the tournament
אבל-
already. We're not going to see them play today.
ובלוז
We're not
ברקט
gonna see
אמור
them play
להגיע
until
עוד שחקן
Sunday.
אחד
They've
או
already
שתיים.
secured a decent chunk of cheddar
לא כל
when
כך
it comes to the
הבנתי.
prize money. If you were to lose at any point, if you look, for example, in round 1 and round 2, you can see players have lost
ליטו
games.
נצטרך
And as a
שנתיים
result,
נכנסת.
on the next page we're going to see, they would have dropped down to the losers bracket, where they would have to play
יש
their
לנו
way
משחק
back in. But as
ראשון,
long as you're winning,
וואלה אין לי
you're
מושג.
going through rounds to rounds to rounds, trying to get to
אין לי
the
מושג.
bit that Tom and Olilito did. So this happened a few weeks ago, as we mentioned. And if you've lost a couple games already, you're out. If you've lost one, you need to keep winning now if you want to get
כאילו
to
תום
play Tom or
ואוליליטו
Olilito
בגמר,
towards
אוקיי,
the end.
סבבה. אבל
Now, Mike,
הנה.
I don't want you to read into this at all, but you need to talk about the
Okay.
losers bracket.
Well, based on your
טוב,
logic,
יש
I
לכם
should
את
read
פרינצפ
into it.
נגד דולן מייק.
Sven is a winner because he's doing the winner's bracket, then I'm a loser doing the loser's bracket. Thank you very much.
רזק
We've
נגד
seen some
איתן,
eliminations, but I want to
יומי
really
נגד
start with these
גורילה,
matchups. We have
ודיוגו
Diogo
נגד
versus
ליריקס.
Lyrics, which I can't stress enough.
ואז
I'm looking forward to
מפה,
the matchup.
מפה,
That might be my
יש
one to
משחק.
watch. Umit
הופה, מה
versus
זה?
Gorilla. And as these guys
כן,
progress,
הבנתי.
they're going to meet potentially Maestro
הבנתי,
in a
הבנתי.
future round. Remember,
כאילו,
he just lost later
יש
stages of the
יש
winner's
את,
round, so he basically gets a bye in the
יש את
loser's round.
אוליליטו
Same
נגד
Ollie When we go back
תום.
down and look at the
מי
remainder
שמנצח,
of the bracket, in Rasic
מי
versus
שמנצח
Ethan,
נגד
as Spencer was saying, Ethan
שחקן
just made a
מהגמר
massive signing.
של
And then
הלוזר
Principe
ברקט, וזה כאילו
versus
הגמר
Dolan
הסופי.
Mike, the only Italian in the competition and a long-term FIFA pro to go up against
הבנתי.
Mike's self-proclaimed deepest voice in FIFA esports, Dolan Mike. If you do an interview with him, it's just going to change the way that you think of this guy. Just wait for it. Because especially when he first came out of the scene, he was a 17-year-old kid, so a lot of us didn't know anything about him. And I just remember the first time, I think it was Kyle, like, passed the mic to him.
קסיאס חוזר
And right when
לרעל?
he passed the microphone, I was like, whoa, who's talking right now? What am I hearing? Whose voice is this? Where's the screen at? I got to see going down. I'm telling you, it is
אולי
something
בולי גם
special.
טוב, כן.
Well, he might be one of your
איתן
players to
גם
watch.
שחקן.
I'm not
בוא
sure we're
נעשה
going to get into
יכול
that
ללכת עד
in a
הסוף
second.
משחק.
But some big names that got knocked
כן,
out.
יכול ללכת עד הסוף.
Tex, Megabit, Ravison. Those guys are definitely not
יש
going
לו
to be the
דסארי,
ones to
יש לו
watch
דסארי
going forward. But
דסארי,
Spencer, let's
אייזי
start with
פאוור
you. Of all the names that we've seen so far, who is your player to watch?
טורקי. ומרטל.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lot of different players we can look at,
כל
right?
השאר
Everyone's
לא
qualified
נראה
and
לי
had a chance to play in
חזקים.
this, has had a fantastic year. But I want to look at someone who I think has got a very good chance to win this tournament. And obviously, you could say I'm taking an easy route out here, but Olilito is one of two players that have
בוא
already
נראה, זה
secured
מרגש זה להיות
themselves a spot through to Sunday, so it makes
בקבוצה
my
של
prediction look
נינג'אז
a
and
little bit
פיג'מאס.
safe, I guess.
וואו.
But you got to look at this
זה
guy, what he's
מרגש.
done already on FIFA 20 to see why I'm picking him out. Okay, he's only 18 years old. He's had a great breakout year. He's already had a move from Team Hullet to a massive esports organisation in Ninjas in Pyjamas, and of course he's won an event. He won the FIFA 20 Champions Cup Stage 3 and has consistently performed well throughout the year. Not to mention winning 3
ברור שהוא
FUT
לא היום.
Cups, and anyone
מה
that's
יש
tried
לך,
to play
תמי?
one of those
הנה.
knows how
הוא בוגס
hard they
בכלל,
are to
לאירופה.
progress in. So, fantastic play. You can see some of his fantastic play in various tournaments here. This was that FUT Champions Cup Stage 3, which he did win. You can see how happy he was to lift that massive trophy. And this is his team. You know, the difference between this tournament and some of the tournaments we've done
זה
over
צולם
the last few years,
מהטלפון.
obviously being
אני
remote
מת.
and our own
דמעות.
locations, players using their own teams. Okay, so we're going to see probably a little bit more variation in squads than we're used to. But of course, he's got the big names in here. He's got Team of the Year, Van Dijk and Ronaldo. He's got 97 rated R9 Ronaldo, Eusebio in there. Interestingly, he has got FUT Champions rewards. Trent Alexander
Feldman
on the
ב7
right back.
לאוגוסט,
So
אני
looking forward to
חושב.
seeing what he can do with this squad.
Well, thank you so much front runner, Spencer. Can we rebrand Spencer for a second here? It's easy to take somebody that's already in the finals, has been winning this year, but I'm going to focus on the old school. It just brings me back to a lot of nostalgic vibes. We've got Gorilla. He's active. He's in the loser's bracket. You don't want to see him. He's building momentum. He's only 23 years old, and this is one of the most decorated competitors that we've ever seen in the FIFA scene. He would be on my Mount Rushmore. 2017 FIFA Interactive World Cup champion, which is of course the PvE World Cup now. We've had a name change, and Gorilla really shifted the competitive scene. He changed the stylistic approach to how people play the game. Very aggressive, very attacking, likes to take a lot of risk with how he goes forward. And some of his defensive measures. He's had so much success doing it. He's inspired not only the scene coming out of the UK, but also all around Europe. And players
הוא זכה פה ב$200,000.
Much different than Olito to a certain degree. Here we've got Neymar, who's got the quick feet, and they definitely eat. You see Vieira in the midfield. Vieira is actually going to play as a center back, so Kevin De Bruyne is going to move into the midfield. He just has it set up in this manner for chemistry. I like to see Johan Cruyff. It makes me happy. And then a lot of the usual suspects, Ruud Gullit, that new summer heat Mendy, who's the best left back in the game, at least in my opinion. And then Juan Bissaka is going to put off another
זה היה מרגש, נשבע. שהוא עושה לו עם הראש כזה, גורילה.
Okay, wait. He's got quick feet and they definitely eat? I am stealing that.
Isn't that the saying? Spence,
no, it is.
I swear that's the saying.
I love it.
They eat, right? You know?
They do. I love it. Also, I'm a fan of both of your choices. I respect
Would you rather have
both
a
of those
quick
guys.
delivery or a slow delivery? Jim, quick or fast? You know, I want...
You know what? As long as it's coming out of your mouth, Mike, that's all that really matters. Now, despite your two choices, I got mine, and it is #Tom. I just feel like he has really stepped it up in FIFA 20, and as you can see here, hails from the UK. Spencer knows him quite intimately since he's a player for #United. And as you can see with his accomplishments, even though he's been competing since FIFA 17, he's really turned it on here in the last year and a half. And I really feel like ever since he partnered with Tex in the E-Nations Cup in FIFA 19, he has been a different player. And for me, a legitimate threat throughout the season. And currently, I really feel like he's unbeatable online. In fact, he's so good on both sides of the ball, I think he might have mastered FIFA 20, which is why I'm not surprised he's in a good position to win it all, even though we're not going to see him till Sunday. But that's enough about me. It's time now for our #Tom player profile presented by Gillette, because Gillette is where the grooming for the next generation of men begins.
של הסאמר קאפ, עכשיו זה של אירופה. מה זה? אני רואה פה את קסטרו. נגד השלקטום, אני מת. מה זה? מה זה? מה זה, הם משחקים במאסטרי בול.
Now listen up, football is the best, Gillette is the best, you're the best. And speaking of the best, I am here to introduce the one, the only, #Tom. #1 in the UK ranked FIFA player, #3 ranked in the world. Tom, how are you, buddy? You been keeping up with that grooming or what?
I mean, I'd be lying to you if I said I need to shave this every day, but every couple of weeks when every couple of weeks when it's growing.
Okay, man. Well, guess what? You look good, Tom. All right, but listen, I am ready, and I need to know who will be the best a man can be in mystery ball right now, Tom. Stop. No, Tom, not already. It's too early. No, Tom. No! Yeah, listen, how are you going to rainbow flick me in the first 2 minutes of the game, Tom?
Just I'm
going to put this in my Twitter bio. Playing the #1 FIFA player in the UK. Now, Tom, with FIFA being a difficult game to learn like anything in life, what would you say to the youngins to kind of inspire them in trying to become the best in gaming or anything in life, really?
Hard work and discipline. One thing with FIFA, I mean, we've all been there, like there's a lot of rage, right? It's easy to rage at a video game. So conduct yourself as a role model is a big part of it. FIFA is a worldwide game, so everyone plays it and watches it. And one thing I've taught myself over the years is about staying calm. And in terms of discipline, about training, always being ready to play whatever tournament it is, treat every tournament the same. The main thing I learned is staying calm in all situations.
Staying calm, that's a big one for me that I need to learn.
Yeah, well, hold on.
בוא יש לו מגרש מאחורה, יש לו מגרש כדורגל.
And you actually taught him
איתו, אמרנו לי מה קורה.
He taught me how to take penalties the day before.
Oh yeah, that's how it works. He taught you. Okay, so listen to this right here. He taught you how to take penalties, and then you guys went to penalties in a tournament, and you ended up beating him in penalties. But he was so happy that he lost because he was the one that put you kind of in that position to learn how to take penalties.
Yeah. Sums up Harry that I beat him in a quarterfinal, like a massive tournament for both of us, and he was just happy for me because it was my sort of moment. He was very happy for me then. So yeah, that sums up everything you need to know about Harry. He lost in a major tournament, and the first thing he says is, "I'm so happy for you. I hope you can go and win it."
Yeah, Harry is the best a man can get. Oh no.
Counts 3 as well. Go on.
So go what? So
Oh yes,
ladies and gentlemen, and that is why he's the number 1 in the UK, number 3 in the world.
אני אהיה בלייב, אחי, נראה לי שאני אהיה בלייב.
I mean, we asked before the game who will be the best a man can be. It looks like Tom is the best a man can be.
I'm about to smack some kids on foot jams.
Alright guys, if you're looking for some expert opinions on how to style your next look, check out Gillette's Style Advisor on Gillette.com.
I love that whole piece. There's a lot to unpack there, especially Castro getting slapped around 9-0. I know he was probably feeling pretty bad about himself inside, but what a performance by #Tom. And I want to throw this to you, Spencer, because as I walked over and talked about his accomplishments, he's done very well, but yet he hasn't climbed to the top of the mountain to be named a champion. Do you think this is the tournament where he can make it happen?
I think he definitely could be. I think if it's not this tournament, it's just a matter of time, because I think this guy's definitely got what it takes to be a champion. He's won an event on the PS4 side before last year, of course, but not seen it through in the grand final. But what I took from that video, is, but it's great to see Castro involved in one of these productions, by the way, obviously a good friend of mine, is what Tom said about not raging or keeping calm. Something that I've said a lot over the years I've watched and been part of the FIFA esports scene. So many different things that can happen to you in game and the conditions. Keeping calm is so important. And you know, you mentioned there yourself that it feels like Tom's grown into this season. But in reality, one of the reasons why it looked like he had a slower start than maybe would be expected based on his later season form is actually completely linked to his ability to keep calm, right? So I'll try and tell this story as quick as I can, but in this HQ here, the #HQ, right at the start of the year, there was an issue where he couldn't connect with an opponent trying to play online in a qualifier. And it was an issue where no one knew why it was happening, but if neither of them connected, they were both going to get a loss, which should have kept him out of the tournament. So basically, long story short, we had to run down to my house, and I had to set up Tom with a setup which is fine for a hobby player, for sure, but for anyone playing this level, would hate it. It's gone from a small monitor to a 50-inch screen on my granddad's old chair, on my console, my controller. Had no time to set it up. Ended up losing the game very narrowly. Didn't qualify for that first event as a result. But what's more important about this is the way he reacted. I know so many players in this scene, and no disrespect to them, but they would have crumbled in that situation because it was like panic, like we've got to get down there. Literally, we were on a stopwatch to get him this game started in time. And he took the whole thing in his stride, didn't work out, goes on Twitter, says that it wasn't to be for the first event, but I'll be back. And he was back. So he's a class act, and you know, obviously I didn't highlight him as my player to watch, but I'm glad you have, because I think there's a reason him and Ololito have got themselves in this position. They're hitting this tournament in prime form, and I would not be surprised if one of them won it.
בגמר הסופי,
that's a great insight, and I think it lends itself to him having some success. And hopefully he will, since he's my player to watch. Now let's take a look at what's at tap today, day one of this 3-day tournament here, the FIFA 20 Summer Cup Series. This is what we're going to see. Diogo versus Lyrics, Umut versus Gorilla, and Ethan Principe versus Dolan Mike. Now, talking about another Mike. Mike, which one jumps out at you? Which matchup are you looking forward to the most?
Can I take
היום יש רק 4 משחקים, כאילו היום זה רק כל המשחקים של הלוזים ברקט. יש כאילו נראה לי רק את 4
Lyrics, I want to see that. I want that action. You got high press, Diogo, lots of offense, Lyrics rates defense, and then Principe and Dolan Mike. I think this is a matchup that's been overlooked, and I think both these guys can make a really deep run in the tournament.
Okay, Spencer, how about you?
Well, he's left me 2 out of 4 left, so cheers for that, Mike. Well, I would say that Enrastic versus Ethan is a very interesting game, because we saw some really good form from Ethan at the Club World Cup there, representing 11s. Can he do it on his own without his partner? Enrastic, though, is another player who has been there or thereabouts for multiple years now. And, you know, this year's not gone the way that a lot of people would have hoped it would with what's going on in the world, but can he set himself up for a big FIFA 21. I've got to agree with Mike though. For
למה
me,
אני
as
לא
a
באיבנט?
UK
כי
based person,
לא הצלחתי להפיל אחי,
Diogo
זה
versus
צריך
Lyrics is a
להיות
really strong
מקום
match,
12
and it's
במידליסט,
amazing that it's,
כאילו
you know,
טופ 12
a
במידליסט.
losers bracket matchup.
ואפריקה,
Whoever wins
אחי.
that has got a chance of going very far if they play their best, because their best is as good as anyone.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you brought up Inrasic, Spencer, because I feel like #Tom very similarly. He's been dominant in FIFA 20, which is why we had to make a little something special about Inrasic. Check this out.
מקום שני 12.
I personally like pressure because when I feel that there's something on the line, I just feel like that I play better when I have the pressure that I really have to perform.
Massive chance for Rossi!
My name is Niklas Rosek. I'm 21 years old, from Germany, and I go by Rosek7.
Johan Cruyff may have a chance to strike Eusebio.
I'm always pretty patient around the box, what shows my play style, which is different from all the others. Like when I'm around someone's box, I just pass it around as long as I have the opportunity to score. I would prefer to have a balanced team in all areas. I don't just want a good attacker and, for example, have bad defenders. So for me, it's really important to have a balanced team.
And you will finally have a
The best ways to attack in FIFA 20 is to build up your play through the wings and then make the way forward on the wings. And then when you're at the box, you just try to get in the middle and then try to score. The most memorable goal for me probably was at stage 2 when I won the Champions Cup. Game 2 I was playing against Crazy Fat Gamer and it was kind of close. I won the first game 1-0 and then I scored the 2-0 and from this moment on I was like, I have to win this tournament.
into the finish! Nicholas Razek!
The best coin for foot item is Modric Flashback, I would say, because he's just 200k. He's almost as good as Gullit. He's not as tall, but he's really, really good for his price.
He goes inside!
The best competitive FIFA player in FIFA 20 has to be Tex, because he's the #1 in the world.
איך הוא
It's
הגיע
always
לטקס? אני לא
close
יודע.
games against Tex, and it's always hard to beat him.
Here's Razek back to goal. Little scoop turn from Eusebio! Scoop turn into the finish!
Why Germany is one of the best FIFA nations is because we have a lot of people that are interested in FIFA esports in Germany, so we have a lot of players and all of them are really motivated and want to get in the scene. I think we kind of learn from each other because we always practice with each other, try to improve.
Can't get there! Eusebio!
I think I can do very well next year again. I would say I kind of do very good every year, so I'm always at the top level every year. So hopefully I can do the same. The Summer Cup event is the only event left in the FIFA 20 season. It's just nice to compete against the best players in the world again, and I just want to try my best to get as far as possible.
I hope everybody was taking notes because he was dropping some insight there, a lot of secrets about how he's had success, and congratulations to him for winning stage 2. Now we want everybody at home to join the conversation. Make sure you tweet at us, please. We want to hear from you. And right now we want to hear who you think is going to win. Tell us your predictions. Hit us up at EA FIFA Esports and use the hashtag Summer Cup Series. And we'll read some of these tweets online. And actually, we already have a few. One is from Futwiz. They say, come on, not the ideal start for Lyrics, but 2 wins on the bounce ensure he's through to the $78,000 final stage, which will be broadcast right now, right us, starting here, July 17th. And then GG's all opponents' first game on the broadcast will be against Diogo. So excited for that. I guess Diogo responded. Let's see what Diogo said. He said $2,000 already guaranteed in his back pocket. I added that in, but we continue on July 17th against my bro Lyrics. Yes. Some good insight from both of those guys. Seems pretty friendly, all things considered, fellas. You guys are both excited for this matchup. Do you think either one of them has an advantage? Mike, I'll start with you.
Perfect. I'm glad that you started with me. So first off, Lyrics, he's part of, I would say, actually a little more the traditional esports mentality. Lyrics talks a lot of trash. He's all over Twitter. I've seen him put down a lot of players, which I like. It means you're confident in yourself. And in some ways, I don't want to say that he's become a villain, but he's definitely someone that has a backbone. He doesn't answer always politically correct. And with the conglomerate and as Foot was backing you as well, I just feel like your word sometimes carries a little bit more weight, and he's done a really good job. A lot of people don't expect him to go far, and time and time again, he's been able to progress. He's done well in tournaments. He's often looked at as the underdog, and I think even in this matchup, it's no different. I think a lot of people talk about Diogo, and you get caught up in his attack and how well he's able to score goals, and then you forget of what Lyrics has been able to accomplish, and the way that he's been able to do it, the route that he's had to go through, the players that he's beat, the path, you name it, the complete narrative.
Yeah, I like that. Good insight. Spencer, he kind of went hard on Lyrics, gave us some insight there. What are you saying about Diogo? Because he's a special player too.
He's a very special player, and they're both kind of similar in the sense that I don't feel like we've seen the best of them in any one tournament yet. We've seen glimmers, right? We've seen lots of moments and individual games where they've beaten people. Like Diogo in particular, really good EPL last year in the E-Premier League, representing Fulham in that. And I know anyone in the UK scene knows what these two guys are capable of. I think Lyrics has had his incidents in the past that have cost him progression, where his FIFA ability was clear for everyone to see. He's also had a really good stint as coaching, in coaching as well, helping other players go fast. He obviously understands the game on both levels. So for me, if they both play their best, and I'm talking about over the last few years, I think Lyrics edges it, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it go either way, because I think both these players are capable. The question is, will they kick on? Are they going to get to the point in their career where they actually make themselves the #1 player in the UK, which neither of them have officially done yet?
Alright, we've got the analysis from Spencer and Mike. We've seen the tweets. Now let's learn a little bit more about each player, starting with Sporting Clube de Portugal's Diogo.
This could be an opportunity for a 5th goal here, though. There's not many defenders, but there is Cristiano.
I think the key to consistency is hard work and dedication. You just have to wake up on the day and maybe get a ritual and stick to it.
Here's Rashford though in for Diogo. It might be the first goal of the game for Fulham.
My name is Diego Mendes. I'm 18 years old. I play for Sporting Clube Portugal, and I go by Diogo.
Kyle Walker has to do some defensive work. Just shot away, and it's 2 for Diogo.
My gameplay is definitely attacking based. I like to score more goals than my opponents instead of trying to concede less. I certainly like the pressure, but it can sometimes hinder you. I think I did quite well with it, but I think it was Atlanta to the final. I got to the Xbox final, and I felt the pressure a little bit. Obviously, it showed. I played my worst game probably of the knockout stages. My favorite way to attack in FIFA 20 is down the middle. I've always used 4-2, which is a formation that not a lot of people use. It's only good for attacking, but I don't like defending anyway, so it doesn't matter to me. My favorite skill move is actually a skill combo. It is the RT stop and then the La Croqueta from straight after the RT stop. It's actually very effective because when you do the RT stop, normally the opponent just runs at you, and the La Croqueta is very effective at just getting past the defender. Signing with Sporting was a dream come true. I didn't really expect it. You know, the current national team coach, a great friend of mine, just hit me up. DMs, they need a Club World Cup player, Xbox player. The most memorable goal I scored in my career, I'd say, is the goal against Emerson Sari in the semi-final. That was to make it 6-2 and, you know, GG. I think that was the moment I realised that obviously I'd beaten Sari and I was moving on to the final, and I really thought I was going to win the tournament. I believe I can win a title. Next year I definitely aim to win a FUT Champions Cup, if not playoffs or the World Cup. I look forward to competing in the summer series because it's nice to be competing again. I think I speak for every pro player when I say that it's good to be back.
Okay, so we've heard from Diogo. Now let's hear from his opponent, Futwa's Lyrics. Take a look.
אני נראה לי אחרי זה יש להם את המשחק, אני כמעט בטוח. רק למשחק זה הולך להיות.
I'm normally someone that does better under pressure and against better opponents. So I like to prove people wrong, and that's definitely a motivating factor for me. I'm Caleb Edwards, I'm 23 years old, I play for Team Futwiz, and I go by Lyrics. I describe my gameplay as pretty defensive. I'm probably one of the best defenders in the game, and in attack I'm kind of a bit unpredictable. My go-to formation in FIFA 20 has been 4-4-2. I like the way that the 4-4-2 transitions in attack. It's a lot more, I think, fluent and unpredictable than the 4-2-3-1. Unfortunately, the 4-2-3-1 is the better formation.
שנה שעברה הוא לא התחרה כי הוא היה בבנק מהקומפטטיב פליי, כי הוא הגיע לקרונץ משהו.
At the top level of FIFA, I think it's really important to have skill, but at the same time, if you don't have confidence, it's going to be really hard to beat them top players. The most memorable goal I ever scored was probably my second goal against Dolomite with Lionel Messi. I did about a 6-pass like build up with my midfield, got the ball into Messi, did a ball roll, sprinted forward and cut back onto Messi's left foot and finessed it into the far corner.
Probably no ball roll. There's that left foot, and there's a goal.
But my reaction to that goal was a big let's go. It was a really nice goal and it pretty much secured my victory and got me into my first ever console final.
איזה יפה עשו את זה?
I'd say the best foot item in the game, coin for coin, is this new Frank Ribery SBC. I used him this weekend up front. He scored 30 goals in 30 games. Really good player.
For Lyric's first chance here, Neymar on the right foot.
FIFA competitor in FIFA 20 is definitely Tex. I feel like Tex is the guy that everyone's like aiming to throw off.
For Tex, he's turned away.
If you want to win a tournament, you're probably gonna have to go through him. So I'm probably not a rival to him, but to me, he's definitely one of my rivals. So the situation with Rafsu, it's a bit understandable now, but at the time I didn't feel like I was in the wrong, but I was using overload ball side and he wasn't happy about it, but forward down the line a few months I can definitely see why he was frustrated, but yeah, due to that he didn't shake my hand and I put out a pretty good tweet to be fair. Next year in the FIFA scene I think that I can win a title. It's going to be tough of course, but something that I think I definitely can do.
קורפה יש לה פוטנציאל, אבל לא יודע, זה מרגיש כאילו רחוק מדי. לא יודע איך להסביר את זה.
All right, so we hear from both of these competitors heading into match one. Overall, though, Diogo is losing to Lyrics 3-2. Pretty close things, all things considered. So Spencer, I want to throw it to you really quick on this. Form versus history here, because sometimes you have these records, you have these statistics, but they don't always tell the story if one player is on better form. Now, you were leaning toward Lyrics before. After hearing from both of them, are you giving Diogo a chance at all, and a half chance maybe?
No, massively. I would happily sit on the fence in this one. I do think it's really tight. You know, I'm saying that I think on their best day, they both play their best. Maybe Lyrics edges it, but what I like about Lyrics, and Mike was alluding to it before, he's unapologetically himself. You know, he's not gonna do what someone else tells him to do, and he's gonna just find his own path in this industry. And I think he's got the respect of other players undoubtedly. All I always hear is how good Lyrics is. But it's time for him to convince everyone else now. And to some extent, yeah, the same for Diogo as well, who's probably ruffles less feathers than Lyrics does. But in terms of FIFA, he's just as competitive and talks to himself about how he's got this attack over defence mentality, whereas Lyrics explains himself in his own words, one of the best defenders in the world. It's a perfect matchup, right? Attack versus defence, to see who wins.
Yeah, Mike, I was going to say, this sounds like an immovable object versus an unstoppable force. I couldn't say that very well. There's a lot of vowels and yeah, just a lot of letters for me. Who do you think is going to win out then? The better attack or the better defending?
Well, unlike Spencer, I don't like sitting on fences, so we're going to make a choice today. But I will say it's going to be high scoring versus low scoring, and I think Lyrics has a bit of a better mental edge in these matchups, but I also think Diogo's more talented with his FIFA ability in terms of just natural talent, showing up, giving you the ins, the outs, the intricacies, the 1-2s, the skill move sessions, and I'm going to run with Diogo here. I'm going against the grain, even though we don't really know where Spencer sits in this situation because he likes everybody equally.
All right, we'll get back to that. No. All right, we're going to head to break right now. It's the first matchup of the FIFA 20 Summer Cup Series, Diogo versus Lyrics, coming up right after this. Don't go anywhere.
עשו זה יפה, עשו יפה. כמה צופים יש להם? 10,000 צופים. לא מרזים מדיוגו, הולך עם דיוגו. איזה משעמם. מה זה? איזה משעמם כמו את האוויר. וזה הטורניר אחי, מה נעשה? זה היה עכשיו רק דיבורים. עכשיו זה עוד פעם מתחיל המשחקים.
If someone asks you what you're made of, don't just tell them, show them. Show them that you're made of proving the doubters wrong. Show them you don't have to raise your fists to beat your enemies. Show them you're stronger when you stand together. And show them whoever you are, you stand shoulder to shoulder against all forms of prejudice. Because when we show our best side, we don't just play the game, we change it.
העיקר שתצפה אחי, העיקר שתצפה, זה מה שהכי חשוב. עולה משחק קשה, נראה לי ליריקס יפסיד את זה עוד. כאילו דואג לנצח אתה אומר? מעניין. תראו, רשמו פה 4 PS5 ו-PS4, מעניין. הנה, תראו. פה זה פלדמן יהיה. מידל איסט, אין אפריקה, 7 לאוגוסט, 9 לאוגוסט, פה. זה פלדמן, עכשיו אנחנו פה, אירופה. אוקיי? דקה מגיע, הולך להביא לי זה משהו לנשנש, דקה מגיע. איזה באסה שנשים לו עלה, כן, איזה באסה. נראה לי חסר לו אפילו, אולי חסר לו מקום אחד אני חושב. אני לא בטוח. כמה צופים אנחנו? בדרך לא הרבה, 13, לא נורא. מוזמנים להישאר, עכשיו יש משחק בין ליריקס לדיוגו, טוב.
The FIFA 20 Summer Cup Series Europe is presented by PS4 and brought to you in part by Gillette. All right, everyone, it is time to link your EA and Twitch accounts if you haven't done so already, because I have the distinct honor of revealing the live viewership reward for today, which are a Rare Players Pack and a Kylian Mbappe 98 rated Team of the Season so far. These items will be dropped to certain Twitch viewers with a linked EA and Twitch account during today's live stream. So make sure you go and do that at ea.com/twitchlinking. All right, everybody. Welcome back to the FIFA 20 Summer Cup Series, the European edition. I'm Jimmy Conrad alongside Spencer Owen and Mike LaBelle. And guys, we are moments away from our first match. We've done a lot of talking. Now it's time to get into it. You've given me your predictions, if I'm not mistaken. Mike, you went with Diogo. Spencer's sitting on the fence. Spencer, do you want to clarify? Because you've kind of gone both sides.
No, I didn't go both sides. I said on their best day, Lyrics wins. So surely that is...
Is this the best day, Spencer? Is this the best day or not, Spencer?
Oh, that's up to him. That's up to him, mate. That's up to him. I'm just saying, on their best day, Lyrics wins. So I think it's the superior player marginally. But what can happen? Anything can happen. What's interesting about this tournament is they played a couple of weeks ago. It's very rare that we see this going into a tournament that they already know who they're going to play and they've had a chance to address what went wrong. So this could change everything. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know what's going to happen, which I've often done in the past. I am going to say that if you're asking for a prediction, I will say Lyrics to edge it. There you go.
Okay. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the updated bracket then and see where things stand, just to get everybody caught up if you're just joining us right now. And if you are, welcome. And if you've been around the whole time, thanks for staying and sticking around and seeing what's up. So here's the first one, round 3.
נגיד ליריקס מנצח וגורל מנצח, אז זה אחד נגד השנים. ואז מי שמפסיד הולך ומי שמנצח נגד מאסטרו.
So it's win and stay or lose and go home. So yeah, it's a very big one, and then they'll obviously, as you see, play Umut versus Gorilla. That'll be a big matchup. That'll be our second one of the day. So guys, I think that's enough from us. Let's throw it over now to our casters, Mark Onset Hatcher and Manchester City's Ryan Pessoa. Take it away, guys.
Thank you, Jimmy. And
Ryan,
yeah, it's almost time to get some competitive FIFA action back on your screens at home. And there's a new face in the virtual commentary booth joining me as well. You can see him here. Is of course Manchester City's Ryan. How are you feeling, buddy? Great to have you here on the show.
Thanks for the introduction on set. I'm feeling good. I'm excited to get into some top quality action. We've got Footwiz Lyrics versus Diogo, who's representing Sporting. Both players, I'd say, are renowned for using the 4-4-2, and I guess it's beneficial in generating attacks. So I predict we'll see a lot of goals, but I think it'll be quite close.
I think it's a really good point that you make there. Is kind of a little bit against the grain, so to speak, with the meta that we've seen so far this season. The 4-2-3-1 obviously been quite dominating so far. Why do you think the 4-4-2 is one of those formations that works for these two guys?
I think we saw from Diogo's interview specifically anyway, he speaks about how defensively he knows that maybe he's not the best at it. So in terms of attacking, it's probably the best form of defense, just going forward, trying to generate as many attacks as possible, because he knows how good he is in front of goal, how unpredictable he is. And I think that echoes the same statement from Lyrics as well. They both know how good they are. Despite being arguably the second best formation, it's not as good as the 4-2-3-1, but it's a formation that both of them are, I'd say, the best at using this year.
Amazing stuff. Well, it's great to hear from you, Ryan. Obviously, looking forward to calling the game with you. But we've got something a little bit special beforehand as well. We've actually got both of the players on the line, I believe, to have a quick interview with. And there they are. You've got Diogo and Lyrics here. Great to have you on the show, guys. Best of luck, of course, in the game coming up. I'll start with you, Diogo. What has your preparation been like for this Summer Cup series? Because obviously we had a little bit of a stop with the global series, but now we're back. Now we've got some competitive FIFA ahead of us. What's your preparation schedule been like?
To be honest, we've been moving house, so I haven't really been playing FIFA. So since the first qualifying round of the summer series, I think all I played was the Player Unite Cup in Portugal. I played I played 5 games. Other than that, I haven't really been playing PS. I haven't played it. But yeah, I mean, FIFA's FIFA at the end of the day. So when it's time to play, I'll just show up.
Still got that natural talent, and obviously we're looking forward to you playing today. Lyrics, I'm going to come to you next. Great to have you on the show, and best of luck in the game coming up. But what's your motivations level been like? Have you been able to keep those levels of motivation up ahead of the Summer Cup series?
To be honest, I actually started grinding a bit more as the weeks went on after the COVID thing. So I think I'm back to similar level as before, like the lockdown and everything. But yeah, I'm really motivated coming into this.
Awesome to hear. Ryan, have you got anything to add for these two guys ahead of our first game?
I wouldn't say I have any direct questions, but it's a weird one. I'll say to both of them anyway. Would you say you're at a level that you'd say you are, when the global series started this year, do you think you're at that level, or would you say the break has probably lowered your level maybe a step or two?
I'd
say 2 or 3, maybe 4, but yeah, no, definitely. I think right now I was listening to you talking, and you were saying obviously we play 4-4-2, but I don't know about this, but I think he has as well. But we both ditched the 4-4-2.
הראש כרובית גם שובר אותי עם השיער של דיוגו.
4-4-2 is a real skill formation, so if you actually learn to play FIFA, most of the time you use it. But I think when you stop playing FIFA, for example, I stopped grinding. So I think if I just go in with a 4-4-2 now against Lyrics, my defense gets exposed. So I think the thing to do is to play with the best defense formation, which is the 4-2-3-1.
Yeah, that makes sense.
No, I agree. Yeah, to answer your question, I don't feel like I'm as good as I was at one point in the year, because just repetition, I think. As we was playing more tournaments, of course, you're going to be at a higher level. That's been a bit scarce in the last few months, but I'm saying I'm at a decent level right now.
באמת?
Yeah, a few steps below.
אתה מנצח את דיוגו כאילו?
Well, we're looking forward to you two guys obviously getting the action underway. Thank you for joining us to have a quick chat before we get into this game, which is just moments away, so we'll let you go away now and obviously set your teams up and get ready for that game. But Ryan, obviously we've got things to take away here, right? We've spoken to the two guys and both of them, you know, a little bit humble, maybe underselling themselves a little bit. That's just to be expected because they're both very good friends, you know, they know each other very well in the scene. But I think I'm excited to see, like Spencer mentioned, attack versus defense a little bit here. We say that Diogo is one of those players who loves to go forward. Lyrics really rates himself as a defensive player. What are your views on how this match is going to pan out with those two playstyles?
Well, it's a bit different now, knowing that they're going to be using the 4-2-3-1. I said it would be quite high scoring. Now I'm probably a bit reserved in that sense. I'd say, I think it'll be quite close. I'd say between them, there'll probably be about 4 or 5 goals. That's my prediction. I'm not sure who's going to win exactly. I'll probably edge maybe towards Lyrics just because Diogo said he hasn't been playing a lot, and I say the person who's probably most comfortable on PlayStation would be Lyrics because I know he's been grinding out those 60 games on Foot Champions on each console, so I'll probably edge towards Lyrics being the most prepared for this competition.
Okay, and another thing, obviously, we haven't had any competitive FIFA on our screens
for quite a while now, so we've
had some new player items introduced to the game as well, the likes of the Mbappe with the 5-star week for the little changes like that. We've had the team in the season so far, and all of these little icons coming along with the Summer Heat players. So what are your players that maybe you're looking to see here? We've seen a couple of the players' teams already that have been the standouts from when we last have some competitive FIFA on our screens.
Well, we've seen the new cards that have been entered into the game. It's the Summer Heat Ousmane Dembele and also the Summer Heat Ribery, Lyrics mentioned as well. Both 5-star weak foot, 5-star skill move players. So that's very important, especially going forward. You need your attackers to be, I guess, the most unpredictable you can be is having a player that can turn on either foot, can do all the skill moves that are into the game. And yeah, those type of players with both 5-star skill foot, 5-star weak foot, I'm expecting to see them implemented in pretty much all of the squads throughout the tournament.
Now let's talk a little bit about the two players while they're not in our ears and they can't hear what we're saying, because now we can say what we really want to say, right? You know, these two players here, they've been very successful in FIFA. We have to say both, you know, I've got a long road ahead of them in their careers so far, but haven't quite managed to get over that final mental hurdle, which is of course winning the big one, right? Which is a great opportunity for them to do so here. What do you think is holding them up in that respect? Do you think there's an element missing to their game, or do you think it is just that mental element maybe that they haven't quite managed to grasp yet?
I think they're both obviously top players. There's a reason that they're featuring in this competition. They're both achieved a lot this year. Specifically, I think they've both reached the console final throughout the global series for FIFA 20. In terms of what they're lacking to reach that next level to become a champion, it's a tough one because the margins are so small at that top level. So even reaching a semi-final, reaching a quarter-final, reaching a console final takes a lot. It takes a lot of ability, it takes a lot of mental strength, and it also takes, you have to take an element of luck as well. And honestly, on the day, on any specific day, any given player can win a game of FIFA, so it's about who's got the luck, who's been performing at the highest level, who's more consistent, and we'll see who can take a win here and perhaps go further in the competition.
I think it's a great point you make. You know, with the amount of players that we have in the FIFA Global Series and the amount of players from all around the world that come together at these events, we kind of sometimes undersell the achievement of not actually winning a tournament, but even getting into the top 8 is incredible to as an achievement for these players. And sometimes we do undersell that. You're right, but that big championship win is always what's going to make you stand out from the rest of the pack. Well, we're just moments away from the game. You can see it there. We're going to hopefully get into that one as soon as possible. But I need your predictions here. I know you said that you kind of fancying Lyrics a little bit, and it's going to be a bit of a lower scoring game than you were expecting. But why are you going that way? Why do you think?
כן, רועי, זה כאילו אופציה ממש טובה.
I mentioned it before, and Diogo said that he's been moving out, so he hasn't been playing as much FIFA as he was doing beforehand. And obviously, having such a long break coming back to FIFA, everyone has that natural ability at the top level. You can switch off for maybe a couple of months and come back and still be great at FIFA, but there's that extra level you miss when you don't practice consistently, where you're not scrimming against your friends, and that's where I'd say Lyrics kind of edges it. I know he took a break for quite a period of time, just to regroup, just to reset, and he's come back now. As he said, he's been playing a lot of FIFA, getting back to the grips of where he was performing at the start of the year. So I'm gonna have to say Lyrics edges it. Yeah, I'll say Lyrics edges it, but it could even go to penalties. I think it'll be a low-scoring game.
Yeah, well, there's. I'm gonna obviously play devil's advocate here because, you know, it makes it more fun, doesn't it? I'm gonna go with Diogo for this one. I think sometimes when you have that little break and you haven't been playing a little bit of FIFA and you come back, you have that little honeymoon
אתה
period,
אותו
right, where
בחילופים,
everything
יכול לעשות אותו
just click
לחילופים.
for you quite
כמו
nicely.
שתגיד שקריסטיאנו רונלדו טוטי או טוטס יהיה גרוע.
So it'll be aggregate score after those two legs. But both players in the losers bracket as well, which is a little bit of a surprise. It's always surprising to see some of these big names, but someone has to, of course, fill that lower bracket. But this is an elimination game, so there's an added step of pressure for these two players. How do you deal with that in tournaments? For example, if you're in the Swiss stage and you know that you've got to win your last game to progress into the next day, how do you deal with that pressure as a player?
I think those moments are the most grueling, and it's the point where you see who's most prepared for that situation and who isn't. It's difficult dealing with the aspects of pressure, especially when you know it's a do or die situation. You have to win, otherwise you go home. And obviously some players cope with pressure a bit differently. Some people use it to fuel their game. They can use it to progress further into competitions. But some people, it could cause them to perhaps curl into a ball and go under their shells a little bit, play a bit, I guess, slower than they usually do, take less risks. And I think both of these players perform quite well under pressure. As I said, they've both reached console finals this year, which, as we said, is a fantastic achievement. So dealing with pressure at this stage in a loser bracket, you must win. It's going to be difficult for both players, but I believe they won't be able to handle it.
And here we go then, ladies and gentlemen. The time for talk is done and competitive FIFA is back on your screens. As I mentioned previously, Ryan, great to have you in the commentary box applying that extra level of analysis for us. But you can see here it's going to be Diogo who is kicking off here, shooting from left to right and almost immediately trying to get in behind there and find the run of Johan Cruyff. But already we're seeing Lyrics pick up possession pretty quickly and both players trying to turn defense into attack as quickly as possible. As Cruyff now goes back inside. Mendy now on the ball. One of the standout players, like on these new items that have recently been added to the game, the summer heat. Ferland Mendy really is a special foot item.
Yeah, definitely. It's good to see the new players into the game that have been implemented into the squads. You've got amazing fullbacks this year. You've got the likes of Wan-Bissaka on the right-hand side. You've got Trent, both of their team of the season cards as well. But I think Ferland Mendy can play either side. He's got the 5-star big, he's got the 4-star skill moves, and he's especially great for these type of players who like to build up with their fullbacks and their left attacking middle, right attacking midfielder. So it's good because they're able to play on the ball and also defend great off the ball as well.
Here's Diogo then looking to play that ball back inside, but Lyrics will get the interception. You can see Vieira and prime icon moments being moved to centre back, and combination of that 99 rated team of the season so far. Virgil van Dijk alongside Patrick Vieira is certainly a formidable partnership.
זה ככה גם בתחרות באיבנטים כאילו שלי.
Absolutely, I'd say Van Dijk
wide here again.
Sorry, I'd say Van Dijk's probably been undisputedly anyway the best centre back of the year, but I'd say pairing him with someone like Vieira, for me personally anyway, I don't know, maybe the message changed, but I wouldn't go for two big stocky centre backs. I'd rather go for one centre back which is the dominant one who's in the air, like Van Dijk, like Vieira in essence anyway, and I'd also partner him with someone like Militao or Ramos, just because you've got the guy that can turn quicker, that can read the scoop turns with the elastic goals a bit easier.
Here's Ronaldo, and you can see Zidane making that little run inside, but Lyrics just not being able to connect the final pieces of that puzzle to create that chance. But good stuff from Lyrics, good sign from both players moving forward so far in this game, and both players here, Ryan, showing some real attacking intent as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think, well, I'm pretty sure anyway, but both these players, they play against each other a lot for practice, in and out of qualifiers for tournaments. They also have played each other at events before and in qualifiers at home, so they're probably used to seeing each other on the opposite side of the game and playing against each other. So it's just about trying to be as unpredictable as possible and doing stuff that you know that your opponent might not be able to read because you've not done it before, maybe trying out even a new attacking setup, maybe switching plays around. Little things like that can just add that little element to being more unpredictable.
איך רואים שאין להם כוח לשחק? נשבע. הם כל פעם הולכים אחורה עם הגב, אתם רואים? אז לא יודע, כאילו אין להם כוח להניע כדור.
The game so far, a little scoop turn there from Johan Cruyff buys him half a yard, and now Ronaldo maybe has the chance to get that shot away, but the strength there of Patrick Vieira shows why these players are so used to moving him into that centre-back position. You talked about how he might not have the agility that some of the centre-backs do, but he does have that strength and that presence to make those kind of challenges.
Yeah, exactly. With Vieira, it's a weird one because you haven't really been seeing him used that often in centre defensive midfield this year. He's obviously got the height, the stature, he's massive in game, and I feel like trying to get past him, he has like a force field when you're defending against him. He's amazing, and it's great to use him, but as I said, for me personally anyway, I'd like to use someone a bit smaller if I'm
יש
combining.
דילי במצלמה. אני כמעט בטוח, הם לא משחקים עכשיו.
Now let's see the ball just being contested in midfield a little bit. You can already
יש
see
דילי
the ball's being
במצלמה.
lined up here by Lyrics.
וואלה, יש דילי
But he's maybe
במצלמה
thinking about a
מוגזם.
few changes. Going up on this left-hand side here for Diogo, trying to feed that ball in behind, but we are going to see a pause here already. And I wonder if it's the same thing or Lyrics isn't quite happy with something that's going on in game, but we are going to get that restart and being comfortable, as you know, Ryan, especially in these online tournaments, is so vital for these players.
Yeah. No, definitely. I feel like, especially at home anyway, it's good. In a two-legged format, it's good just to get a gist of how the game's going, whether your opponent is looking up defensively, whether you need to change something around, perhaps even just a small tweak of the setup of your attackers, where they're playing, right attacking midfield to striker, etc., etc. Just changing things around.
כאילו אפשר לראות לפי הריאקשן שלהם אם זה יש גול או אין גול. לא יודע, נראה לי.
Well, here's Cristiano Ronaldo then, it's Mbabu who gets the ball in to the channel here for online Ronaldo to try and beat the man, but unfortunately for him, the strength battle, which is one that usually wins in those situations, has been won twice in a row now by Patrick Vieira. Diogo now tries to turn defence into attack once more, gets the ball out wide here to Cristiano Ronaldo, but Mbabu's going to win the ball, and not only that, possession now turns over to with Lyrics.
I think there's also something that is, I guess, good to point out. The addition of so many top-tier defenders this year, I feel like it adds something to the game where it's a bit harder to break them down. Even though you might have the team of the year Ronaldo, you might have prime icon Ronaldo, but I feel like
עוד נדבר עם סומין ואלה השחקנים של נורמה פורטנייט. ביום יום לא, אבל כאילו, אתה יודע, אם אני רוצה לדבר איתם, אני יכול לדבר איתם. אין לי כל כך מה לדבר איתם, אני משחק פורטנייט וכאלה.
You certainly have to work hard to score goals on FIFA 20.
זה לרציני, אני יודע, אמרתי. יופי.
Midfielders, but a little skill combo there from Diogo almost gave him the space to break through and maybe get a shot away himself. That little half drag back to Elastico is something that we saw Tex kind of introduced to the game and was highly effective. And it seems like players, though we don't have those skill combos being able to link up quite as much with obviously the margin of error that does get added as you link those skill moves together. The little two skill moves being linked together is something that players sort of formulated a little bit later in the season. It's been a good way to express themselves for these players, right?
No, definitely. It's a fantastic way to open up space, and that's the thing this year. It's a bit difficult because you can't skill change, so you can only use maybe one or two combinations. Maybe you can use a drag to drag into a Lacoqueta or a drag back into an Elastico, which opens up a lot more space. But again, that's why I said having 5-star skill moves in your attackers and 5-star that's why maybe you see the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo being used, but played in a wider position when in previous years you maybe see Ronaldo used primarily as striker. Now you're usually seeing him more used, maybe left attacking midfielder, right attacking midfielder, or even centre. Sometimes Tex has used that before.
Well, we're going to see Cristiano Ronaldo trying to use his pace down this right-hand side now. He's being chased by his namesake as well, but it will be the half-time whistle, I believe, here in our first leg. No goals
תראו את הסטטים, תראו. זה competitive player, תראאו. זה גיים, סליחה. ראיתם 0 בעיטות 0 שערים, 0 בעיטות 0 למסגרת, כאילו? בשני הצדדים. ראיתם? ככה זה השנה, אין מה לעשות. לרוב. 90% מהמשחקים זה ככה.
Prior to competitions or qualifiers, I know that they play other games together as well. They have that good chemistry with each other. So playing that many times against each other, it's quite easy to suss out what your opponent's going to do. You pretty much have seen them do it 10s, 20, 30 amounts of times. So it adds to the element of having the game low scoring.
And what do you feel like maybe one of these players will change? I know it's 0-0 at the moment, so you're probably not going to see too many changes. Have you seen anything that you'd like to see the player try and implement to their game so far?
Well, they both said that they've turned away from the 4-4-2. I think it would be great just to see both of them, if not one of them, use it and just see how great they are going forward, because I feel like it complements both of their attacking play. When you have two strikers, you're able to pretty much create triangles between the midfielders and the strikers that generate a lot of goals for opportunities. You can do that in a 4-2-3-1, but it's just less options going forward. So
אם תראו אותם במצלמה, זה הורג אותי מצחוק. שיש את הריאקשן בדיליי.
That team of the season so far, Neymar maybe doesn't have on his side in comparison to a lot of foot items who are in that attacking position. Now it's the strength. As Lyrics now is going to step forward again, still waiting for that first chance on goal. The linesman's flag will stay down here, little hill to hill here. You can see the man arriving on the edge of the box. Virgil van Dijk, ever present in that centre-back position, manages to get the block, and Lyrics trying to desperately break down this defence, but unfortunately R9 will go straight into the book there. A little bit of a rash tackle on the edge of the box.
I think with what you're seeing here, especially in that situation specifically, is Lyrics is kind of doing a bit too much to be more unpredictable. I think he's doing that just because maybe, as I said, they played frequently before, they know each other very, very well on and off the pitch. So it's a situation where when I've been in that situation myself in previous qualifiers where you try and do too much so that your opponent doesn't read it, whereas the most basic thing would work. Just simple drag back or scoop into the shot, providing the goal scoring opportunity.
דיוגו, ועט!
Well, lama Neymar inside that box. Maybe we are going to see that first goal scoring opportunity again, but maybe an example of what you were talking about yourself. Maybe just overthinking that situation instead of maybe just trying to get a shot away. But still no shots to report. Neither goalkeeper having to earn their keep so far in this game. But how difficult is it sometimes to adjust that game and think, you know, maybe I am overplaying things. Maybe I need to keep things a little bit more simple.
I think it's so easy to say that when you're just looking at it, but in the moment when the pressure's on, you're not really thinking about that. You're thinking about many different things. Like there's a lot that goes into your mind when you're in a competition. So it's easier said than done, and hindsight's a wonderful thing.
Oh, and it is the first goal. And it's Zinedine Zidane who finally breaks the deadlock here, and it will go to Lyrics. Managed to work his way inside the box there, Ryan. Got the little ball across, and that pass from Ronaldo is what made that chance.
Exactly, it was a fantastic work goal in the box. And another thing with Lyrics is that he's been favoured since the very start of the game. I know a lot of pros seem to not use him. He has fantastic stats going forward. Maybe lacks in the defensive stat department, but going forward, his playmaking abilities and contributing to those late runs into the box provides fantastic goal scoring opportunities that you've just seen.
So it's going to be Lyrics here who takes the lead. You can see the pause already been
זה היתרון פה,
so
שבחלק התקפי הוא טוב.
And now we're going to see Diogo maybe trying to get his way back into this game.
Diogo לא מספיק חד, לא חד
make those changes. And one thing that we don't talk about sometimes is even though you queue up that pause, it can take a while for the ball to actually go out. So do you like queuing up that pause a little bit earlier than maybe you intended sometimes?
I'll be honest, I never ever queue a pause. Just because it's a thing where if in my situation anyway, if I see my opponent queuing a pause, I know that he wants to change something. Maybe he's just not happy with how he's performing, he wants to make a sub, maybe change formation. So I'm going to keep the ball in play just to aggravate him. I could just do that just to keep the ball purposely, just to die down the clock a bit, just to make sure he has less time to implement those changes. So if I see that cue pop up on the screen, I'm keeping the ball and I'm rotating even more just to drag his players out of position.
Playing the mental game is, we always talk about the mental game in FIFA esports and how it is such a huge part of success for players, and perfectly showing
אני מקווה שיגידו להם על הדילי הזה, הם יכולים לסדר את זה.
the pros use to try and get that advantage. Now you are seeing the opportunity for that pause to come in, and we are going to see the change to the 4-4-2 here, giving him that more attacking formation, those two men up top, just so deadly in combination. Or are we going to see it stay with the 4-2-3-1? It's going to be interesting to see. Maybe it's just going to be some personnel changes here, right?
Yeah, definitely, and we've seen, as we've mentioned anyway, so many top-tier cards in the game. You're spoiled for choice in terms of players you can sub on an attack. You've got the likes of all the prime icons in Ronaldo, you've got Cruyff, you've got Eusebio,
רואים את הריאקשן שלהם, את
and then
התגובה
you've got
שלהם,
team of
ואז
the season cards in abundance for every single league. You've got the new summer heat cards, which have got fantastic stats and skill moves and weak foot. So you're spoiled for choice when you're trying to make substitutes in the game to make a change. So anyone that is brought on is pretty much gonna make that change in the game.
Well, still the one goal separating these two players. And it is in the hands of Lyrics, who's maybe looking to add a second hit ahead of the second leg. There's Mendy on this far side. Carlos Alberto trying to get across to close down that space, but this is being beautifully worked here by Lyrics, just waiting to find that penetrating ball in. But Ruud Gullit is going to be the man who steps in and wins the tackle like he's done so many times before. So for so many of these pro players, Now this is the chance with 15 minutes left on the clock for Diogo to go forward.
תודה רבה לכל מי שפה, רואה איתי את
The
המשחק.
thing is with Brutal, as you said, he's just a staple in every single squad. Pretty much 99% of the players you see will be using Brutal. If they're not using him, I really don't understand why, because he contributes so much offensively and defensively. He's just incredible going forward and great chances.
And there was a little bit of a chance there for Diogo, but just couldn't find that ball inside to an unmarked player in the 18-yard box. But well-worked opportunity again. It really has been a tight game between these two players. Like we mentioned, only really the one shot on
נראה לי
target
דיוגו
so
שם
far
גול,
in
אני
the
כמעט
game. And it
בטוח
was
שדיוגו שם
converted
גול.
by Lyrics
לפי
after a
התגובה של
beautiful
ליריקס.
move. But you can see
לפי
again,
התגובה של ליריקס,
Diogo
יש
desperately
גול
switching
של...
players here to try and get
יש גול של
pulling
דיוגו.
across to cover this run of Cristiano Ronaldo. Well read, but no, a little bit of a mistake here. Gives the ball back to Lyrics. And now Neymar with the scoop turn gets it on the left foot, but can't quite get the finish. Away, good pressure from the defender, but another chance there for Lyrics.
Comes from a mistake from Diogo. He's pressing quite hard the pitch, just trying to get the ball back, because I feel like in this situation, he's only 1-0 down. He's still got the rest of this game and the next game to go, but he's trying to press out, trying to get the ball back and create chances.
Eusebio has managed to
וואו,
somehow
כן,
put
ידעתי
the
שהוא
man to
יפקיע
the
גול,
ball,
אמרתי
and
לכם,
it is
לפי
going to be the most
התגובה.
simple of goals. A long ball down the line. Eusebio beat Mendy to the ball somehow or other, and then had the simple task of laying that ball back across the 6-yard box. Neymar was there to finish. And the first chance for Diogo has been converted, and sometimes that's a little bit of a frustrating one for you if you're defending in those situations.
Absolutely, especially on the 85th minute, you can see that late. It's kind of just like a stain in your mental ability. Just going into the game, for example, 1-0 up, you have that advantage. Now you're going into the next leg, even. So it's just, you look at that game, you tackle it on a bit different than you would have if you were 1-0 up. But it's a routine goal anyway. It's one that you'll see pretty frequently throughout this tournament. Just an attack down the wing, a cutback, played across goal, and Neymar with the easiest of finishes.
So just a few moments left in this game, and it will be Diogo here with possession. He's going to look to launch it down the line again, and what a ball that is. Out to the man who created the goal for him. And if he can find another goal here and turn this game around inside the last 10 minutes, the second leg will certainly be in the hands of Diogo. That mental edge will certainly be with him. Here's Patrick Vieira. Eusebio again. Added time almost over here. Eusebio's managed to get into the box, but this time Ferland Mendy manages to get back, but a corner here in the last few moments for Diogo. Into the box towards that front post. Ronaldo was there to try and contest the header, but Alisson will come out and claim the ball, and you have to feel that it's going to be the end of our first leg. Ball just needs to go out of play, or the referee just needs to blow his whistle, which he will. 1-1. After the first leg, Ryan, an impressive performance from both players.
תראו את הסטטים, אני מת.
Yeah, definitely. 1-1, probably say is the fairer result of the two.
אני רואה.
Perhaps maybe Lyrics had a few more opportunities to score, but I'd say 1-1 is good representation of the game and the chances that were there.
Okay, well, of course, we've got some amazing action here, but something that you don't want to miss is The Sims Sparked. It's the first ever reality competition show that brings together creativity, entertainment, and competition, and celebrates the amazing players of the Sims community. It premieres tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern Pacific on TBS, and then runs every Friday on TBS through August 7th. It re-airs on Saturday, July 18th at 8 a.m. Eastern and Pacific on TBS, and you can also catch it on the BuzzFeed multiplayer starting on Monday. So some awesome programming coming your way. You can see all the information that you need to there, and I'm sure if there's a few people in the chat and watching at home right now that enjoy The Sims, you'll be tuning in for that. But back to the action that we're talking about. One chance each, you have to say, pretty much in that game. Both converted. And I think that's one thing that we've seen as FIFA 20 has gone on through this season, right? It's when you do create that chance, because chances are at a premium in FIFA 20, the ability to convert is one of the most important aspects that a top player who's going to win tournaments has to have.
Definitely, as you said, there's chances are few and far between. So when you get the opportunity to score a goal, you have to take it. And both of these players, they did take their chances respectively, which is why the score is 1-1. But it's up to who can create the chance first next game. So whoever scores first, in my opinion, will probably edge it, because especially in the second leg, you score first and your opponent pretty much has to go for it. You can keep the ball, you can drag, you can make sure that he drags out players out of position to give you more chances to dribble down the wing or create more goal scoring opportunities. So I believe whoever scores next will win, and we'll see who takes it.
And what's it like to be that player if you do fall behind in the second leg? Because obviously you're the player that kind of has, you know, the pressure on your shoulders to change, right? You're the one that has to change your game plan, who has to go more attacking, who has to take those chances. How do you kind of stay focused in the game, but also kind of keep that pressure at bay that you are behind?
The thing is about this, it's easier said than done, because let's say if I'm in a situation where it's 1-1, let's take this situation, and my opponent scores to go 1-0 up maybe on the 20th minute, I wouldn't go gung-ho then. I'd still sit back. I'd do the same thing I've been doing anyway. I'd perhaps try and maybe do a lot more, I'd say not a lot more, a few more triggered runs just to try and generate more runs down the wing to maybe as a decoy run so I can run into space and commit more fullbacks going forward. But I'd say when it reaches half time or maybe the 60th minute, that's when I'd be like, okay, I'm still 1-0 down. I need to flood the pitch and put more players forward. Maybe a change of formation, maybe I'd up my depth or change the press on, maybe press after possession, also press on heavy targets, just to try and add that element of being more pressure intense on my opponent.
See the second leg of our game here is about to get underway. All the tips and tricks that you could possibly want coming in from Ryan, which is great, I'm sure, for any players who are looking to get into the competitive scene or adding that little edge to their game, not only in FIFA 20 but ahead of FIFA 21 as well. But 1-1 on aggregate, so essentially 0-0 in this game. And just a reminder to everyone that's watching as well, this is an elimination game here in the Summer Cup series, so whoever wins this one will continue, but if you're on the wrong end of the result, unfortunately that will be the end of the road for you.
Elimination games, it's nerve-wracking, because especially when you get to the second leg, it's still even, anything's up for grabs. You want to be the guy that scores the winning goal. You don't want to be the one that maybe makes a mistake to end up giving away the game, which is probably the worst feeling. It's no problem, in my opinion anyway, if my opponent scores a great goal to win the game. But if you make a mistake and it costs you, it's the worst feeling ever.
And I think that Diogo's probably feeling that right now, right? The goal for Lyrics did come from a little mistake.
אני לא חושב שהם דרופ בק או משהו, אבל הם על הבלנס כאילו, אבל עם דפט נמוך.
How vital this first goal is going to be for either of these players, and it's Lyrics now who's stepping forward. Zidane going to be continuing that run triggered by the man inside, and that is a big chance here for R9 Ronaldo. But we talked about how difficult it is to keep your composure and be deadly in front of goal. Well, there's a prime example of it there. A great chance for R9 Ronaldo and Lyrics, but not taken in that particular circumstance.
I think those chances are difficult. I don't think Lyrics done anything wrong there, but it's great goalkeeping from Spike to keep up the chances. It just goes to show that there are narrow margins, especially at this level. So he could take that chance a couple more times and it could go in. Like, it's one of those things, but he's done well to create a chance early on. He just has to keep it up if he wants to break Diogo down.
There's a ball out wide again to Johan Cruyff, and Diogo seems to be favouring these wings quite a lot at the moment, looking to use that lofted through ball over the top to maybe cause some trouble for the fullbacks with those players running on. Vieira now, once again in that centre-back position. Into the 99 rated team of the season so far, Kevin De Bruyne, what an addition he's been to the midfield for these teams. You can see Lyrics again, just defending deep, trying to win the ball. We've not been able to do so far.
I'd say that De Bruyne card, in my opinion, is probably the best midfielder in the game. He's got everything. He's got 5-star weak foot, as I mentioned, how important that is. He's got 4-star skill moves, 90 plus in all of the stats, and he has everything. He's decent height as well. He's got the strength to defend. He's got the passing, obviously, the dribbling to contribute to creating chances going forward. And he's a perfect combination with Ruud Gullit in the middle of the park. As I say, for me, he just edges it. You could argue Gullit is better because of the height, but De Bruyne is a phenomenal card.
I have to agree with you. I think the high work rates as well are pretty nice to have on a central midfielder. So you know he's going to be all over the pitch, especially when you're combining him with a player like you mentioned, like Gullit. And there was a little bit of a mistake there initially from Lyrics in the build-up to that last move. Unfortunately for Diogo, wasn't able to take advantage of it, as we do see that run in behind once again. Instead this time Lyrics choosing to go back inside before now going back out to Mbabu. Well, having a little bit of a stutter in our gameplay, so we'll get you up to speed, and luckily nothing happened. So the score is still at 1-1, but Lyrics once again on the attack here, this time with Zinedine Zidane, gets the ball into R9. Zidane working in slow motion at the moment.
זה רק אצלי כאילו ככה? לא נראה לי. זה לא אצלי.
Here's Furlan Mendy.
Foot with מלכנו.
Technical
למה
hiccup
לא?
there.
למה לא?
We are back.
יואו, רוצה להגיע ל-R9.
But unfortunately, the pass from Johan Cruyff did not reach the man in the middle. You can see the reaction as well from Lyrics. I don't think he's very happy with that pass going the way it did. But no, speaking of mistakes, it doesn't get any bigger than that. And you were talking about mistakes, Ryan, and there is a prime example of it.
אני מת, זה טעות.
That one there is heartbreaking. It's an error on his part. He knows he doesn't mean to do it there, but it's one of those things where, oh god, I'd hate to be him right now, but Diogo's great going forward. He has the ability to lower, to lessen the deficit and equalize. So it's just about doing that and not letting that mistake get to your head. That's the key. We've seen, as Spencer mentioned earlier with #Tom, how calm he is and how even little blips in the game he doesn't rage. It's key to stay level-headed and just try and generate as many attacks as possible to keep yourself in the game.
It's one of those things, like you mentioned, though, sometimes it's easier said than done, but a mistake here from Lyrics might let Diogo back in. Ronaldo drives it home near post. And it's one mistake apiece. And at the moment, it's a little bit like Christmas here for both these players. Both of them just giving out gifts.
2 gifted chances this game, 2 goals. I don't know what to say. As I say, it's so easy to say you shouldn't pass it there when you're just looking at it. But when you're in the game, you're so focused in on the other aspects as well. So it's kind of easy to make a mistake. But I feel like that's what separates the top 10 players this year. Because, as you said, chances are few and far between. A lot of players are really defensive and solid at defending and lessen the chance of, lowering the chances that your opponent can have. It's just about taking the chances when they arrive. And if it's a gift, it's even better.
So 2 gifts, like you mentioned. Maybe both players, we said they were good friends, right? Maybe they just kind of realised that nobody means to make mistakes in this game. They thought they'd tie it back up, but at 1-1 here in this game, 2-2 on aggregate, of course. We're only a few moments away from half-time here, but it is Lyrics who might have this chance down the line. Doing our best to commentate the situation that's in front of us here. You can see a little bit of stuttering going on our screen, but luckily, once again, it isn't going to turn into a goal that we won't be able to catch. But again, I feel like at half-time here, it will be tied up.
Yeah, I feel like this situation, when there is lag or latency issues, it's difficult because at LAN events, you don't really get that. So at home, it's kind of determined on the player's connection as well. So it's a really difficult one.
But the good news is the gameplay maybe gets a little bit of time to buffer out for us because it is half-time here, Ryan. 1-1 in this game. And, no clear-cut chances, you would say, created by either player. Maybe there was that one for Lyrics where he drove it to the near post and it was saved. But 2 big mistakes. You said it yourself. How you don't want to be the player to make that mistake, right? But you can see the pressure that's on these players, right? It's easier said than done. Like you mentioned, those mistakes sometimes happen in these high-pressure games.
Yeah, exactly. And Diogo makes the first mistake to Lyrics, and Lyrics gives him one straight back. Maybe he forgot his birthday or something, but that's an easy goal he's given him. And 2-2 going into it, I'd say, again, it's probably the correct scoreline. 2-2 is fair, and it's just about who can provide that element of, I guess, being the better player in the second leg. We haven't really seen anyone create a massive chance that hasn't been a mistake. So this is about who can create that chance in the next 45 minutes or perhaps even in extra time going towards penalties.
You can see Diogo there, he has changed that 4-4-2 as well, I believe. So maybe he's looking to be the player to take the initiative in this game, take it by the scruff of the neck and try and get himself into the lead and put the pressure back onto Lyrics. And it will be Diogo with possession here from the restart in the second half. First chance to really go forward and maybe create an attack himself. And you can see here how the combination of those 2 strikers can create a little bit more space, but that ball back from Cruyff almost found its way through the centre of the defence of Lyrics, but just cut out at the last moment there. And Lyrics can now move forward himself.
Yeah, I think we've mentioned it several times anyway. It goes without saying that the 4-2-3-1 is the most solid formation defensively, and it does offer a lot going forward as well. But for someone like Diogo, I always, when I hear about Diogo, I always envision him using the 4-4-2. I can't really imagine him using the 4-2-3-1 and being as successful. So I don't know. It's a difficult one.
There was a little chance there for Lyrics to go forward, but a little mistake here from Diogo again. Maybe trying to turn defense into attack a little bit too quickly in
כן,
that
גם מקווה שהיא
circumstance,
תקנה את
but
זה, אני גם
defends
מקווה.
well, and now he can set up for that counter attack. Another thing that the
רונלדו רץ על
4-4-2
הקו.
does offer, as Ronaldo now tries to get away from Ruud Gullit, forced to turn back inside by the Dutchman. Here's Kevin De Bruyne now. Unfortunately for him, just can't find the feet of one of those strikers once more.
You can see what Diogo's trying to do. What most players do at the top level, they create chances perhaps with the left back towards the left mid or left attacking midfielder, and try and create a triangle with the left-sided centre midfielder as well. So once you create that triangle, you drag players out of position. You're able to transition them across to the other side of the pitch. Perhaps maybe just could even switch the play or just playing it into the centre, which is where the space opens up because the defensive player would have pulled players to cover the passing lanes already. So you kind of, especially when you have two strikers, you have it where instead of playing against a back four, because the player's compensated already by dragging players to try and close down the ball, you have your two strikers up against the two centre backs, and it's really easy just to ping passes between each other and to create a chance.
Well, let's see if Diogo can put one of those passing plays together. Unfortunately for him, the passing from Ferland Mendy isn't good enough to reach the player out wide, and now Lewis can come forward again inside the last half hour now, and that's ball over the top, but unfortunately Ronaldo just went a little bit too early there. The flag will go up for offside. And again, you can see the run there, you can see what Diogo was trying to do. Another pause being lined up here, and it's that 60-minute mark, like you mentioned, where both of these players may be thinking about making some changes.
Yeah, and at home, because you have the clock, it does go down quite quickly. At events, it's a bit different because it's kind of unlimited. So some players anyway, when they're in this situation, it's even Stevens, they just want to take a minute out just to analyze their situation, just to see what they're doing wrong, what they're doing well, what they can change to make that imprint in the game and become the dominant player. So it's easier at events just to take that time out, but as you said, at home, you only got 3 pauses and a limited amount of time, so you just got to make those pauses count.
You can see that Kevin De Bruyne is going to be one of those players that's brought on alongside Pele. I believe both of those changes of personnel are for Lyrics. On the other side, you can see Eusebio on for Cruyff, so not losing a 5-star weak foot in those attacking positions, but Mendy's done very well here, using his body to get between the two players, and now Kevin De Bruyne is in behind. Surely this is a chance, but no, the pullback from Kevin De Bruyne not good enough to beat the outstretched leg of Virgil van Dijk, and you can just feel this game starting to get a little bit stretched now, Ryan.
Yeah, definitely, and something that was implemented into this פיפא is the lofted passes or the lofted through balls are key in those situations when you manage to get your opponent to drag out a defender to give you that space in behind, and you're in a position where you can square it. Just a lofted pass or the lofted through ball is a great option to create an attack. So around 20 minutes or so left in this second leg, still all tied up between these two players. Are we going to see a dreaded penalty shootout in our first game of the day here in the Summer Cup Series? I'm sure both players won't want it to go that distance, but they will take it if it has to. But now Diogo moving forward again, a little bit of space here for Ruud Gullit, but a good challenge there from Kevin De Bruyne. Going to win the ball back from Lyrics here. Neymar now turning away with the ball roll. Pressure, Van Dijk trying to get involved high up the pitch here for Diogo. You can see he's desperate to wrestle possession back here. Yeah, and that's how Diogo plays anyway. That's where he's been his most successful, pressing high up the pitch. It's just how Lyrics can play out of that press, and once he does, I think there'll be a lot of space in behind to have a goal scoring opportunity, and that's something Diogo has to be wary about because we're getting to the latter stages of the game now. You don't want to pull too many players out of position to give your opponent basically a free goal, and it's something that he has to be concerned about. Mendy has the ball here, and there is that attempted big ball over the top again, and he's going to have to be careful here and gets a punch on it, and it's a decent punch to be fair, as it lands right to the feet of the fullback of Babu. And now Lyrics with Kevin De Bruyne once more, can move through midfield, spreads it back out wide to Mbabu. Knowing the change of passes here with Cristiano Ronaldo, who continues his run, but there's space in the middle here for Gullit. Just trying to pick apart the defence here of Diogo, and you can see the press again is stifling this attack a little bit from Lyrics. Unfortunately, that interception is just going to turn possession back over to Lyrics here. Lyrics is taking his time in attack. He's just waiting to see maybe the team press happens just to to see if a defender pulls himself out of position, and he's doing well. Just the left stick dribbling here. It's just basic moves, just to create space, just to drag a player towards you to open up a passing lane, and he's doing well with it. It didn't work that time, but we're reaching a stage now where it's advised for the players anyway, just to keep the ball a bit, maybe play for the last attack. So if you do end up scoring, your opponent doesn't have time to bounce back, to respond. So you pretty much have the last say of the game.
Diogo's managed to find a nice ball inside here. You can see the run in behind Virgil van Dijk, but the only problem with Virgil van Dijk is that he's almost as wide as he is tall on FIFA 20, and he managed to get that interception as that ball was played through. And now Lyrics might be the player who has one of the last chances to score in this game, and at this point you have to feel it would be the winner. And now you can see exactly what you were saying, Ryan, just playing for that last attack.
It's a smart move, and you see it implemented by pretty much every player, whether it's a qualifier, whether it's an event, and it's useful. It's not the best thing to watch, but it's just, it has to be done just to make sure that if you do end up scoring, you don't want to be on the receiving end of a chance straight away. So it just limits the amount of time your opponent has to respond.
We're into stoppage time here, and it's Lyrics who's going to be the last player to potentially score a winning goal. Here's Ruud Gullit, tries to fire the ball through, but there is a few seconds left, and Lyrics actually wins the ball back here, but has to keep going forward. You can see him trying to fire that ball in. And we are going to be going to extra time here in our first game of the day of the Summer Cup Series, and you have to say both players have been incredibly well matched so far, and like you said, Ryan, nothing to separate the two.
No, nothing to separate them at all. They've been pretty astute defensively. They've both done well to limit the amount of chances the opposition does have against each other, or that they have against each other. And as I said at half-time, I'd say 1-1 or 2-2 on aggregate is probably a fair result. They both had probably the same amount of chances, whether it being one that they've generated themselves or through a mistake. But I'd say it's a fair result as it stands.
So into extra time we go. It's exactly what we expected from these two players. So equally matched. You've had top 2 performance in FUT Champs Cup 1 from Lyrics, top 8 for Champs Cup number 2. Great start to the season for him, for Diogo. Similar kind of performances throughout this season, getting top a couple of times and always finding his way into the Championship Sunday conversation. But for Lyrics now, he's found the ball inside here, but almost tried to turn back. But again, it's Virgil van Dijk with a big tackle and a big moment of this game.
That's why Van Dijk is so essential to have. He's just there. Everywhere you turn, Van Dijk's there. There's no way to get around him. You have to play the pass. There's no point trying to dribble around Van Dijk. It's not going to happen. You just have to play the pass off and just hope that he doesn't follow it. He's amazing.
I think you couldn't have explained it better there. Van Dijk is just there. It's one of those things, right? You try and play it past, you think you've broken a defence down, and somehow he manages to get a tackle in, but R9 has managed to get behind him, but surprise, surprise, Van Dijk is there. Like Ryan said, to make that interception, but a mistake here from Diogo. Might give the chance to Lyrics to go forward again. The offside trap comes in, but who else but Virgil van Dijk, when the pressure was on, to win a tackle once again.
I think Diogo does well to have all the elements in his game where he can press high. He uses the offside trap very, very well. He utilizes when he should drag players out of position to squeeze up the opponent when he's in possession of the ball. And he does well defensively. That's why, as I said, I think he does this better in the 4-4-2, which is, it's why I was surprised to see him trying to transition into the 4-2-3-1. There's some players when I look at them, I can just say what formation I'd expect them to be using.
Diogo, ese gol.
What a strike from R9. He was going to take something special to put one of these players into the lead, and it is that man, the big Brazilian, who gets the ball onto that right foot, hits a beautiful finesse shot into that top right-hand corner. And if there is a goal worthy of winning a game, you have to say maybe that goal from R9 was it.
Yeah, that's a beautiful goal. There's not much you can do there. He's done well to create the chance at the edge of the box. Again, 5-star weak foot. You don't know where he's going to turn. He has the skill moves as well. He's just turning on the ball slowly with the left stick dribbling. Does well to open up space, and it's a fantastic shot to put Diogo up.
Well, maybe Lyrics will be able to find another equaliser here. R9 turn it away. Here's Cristiano Ronaldo. Tries to get it onto that right foot. Here's R9 again. Tries to fake shot, but Virgil van Dijk has been arguably man of the match so far for Diogo as the half-time whistle in extra time does go.
ברגע שהוא מבודד את רונלדו, את
Definitely, and it goes to show the way that this game is set up, how tight it's been.
זה גול
These players have been
90%.
fantastic, not just this year, but last year they had great years as well. They're showing themselves to be the best, the top players of the, in the global series, and fantastic players in Europe and in the UK. So having this game this tight isn't surprising for me. So I'm just happy that they're both performing at a good level.
Yeah, it's two of the best in the world, you know, so far in FIFA 20. Like I mentioned, some of the achievements of Lyrics and Diogo found their way into that top 8, into that top 2 a few times so far this year. You have to say as well, at the start of FIFA 20, arguably these were the two players that a lot of people were talking about to have that big season. They seem to adapt really well to this game. What did you put that down to? Is it just the grind that these two players put in?
Absolutely, as you said, they started off flying straight away. I know Lyrics specifically, they both pretty much established themselves as the top players, as the players that will be fighting for the grand final spots. And you could say it's down to the grind. I know Lyrics, anyway, I don't know how often Diogo played at the start. I know Lyrics put in so many hours, countlessly, just trying to improve his game. And it goes to show, you can see he started off fantastically well, he performed well, consistently doing well in tournaments, reaching a console final, deservedly so. So perhaps it's down to the hours that you put in, but also how the meta is suitable for the way you play. I think Lyrics specifically learned a lot of the things that were meta this game from the get-go, and it contributed to him performing well.
Well, here's a free kick for Diogo, another goal here, and surely this would be game over. For Lyrics, first thing he has to do is, of course, get that ball back before he can create an attack, but Diogo now with Cristiano Ronaldo is going to find R9. R9 gets put off there by the defender, just did enough to put the pressure on to stop that shot, causing too many problems. And now it is going to be Lyrics with his chance to go forward. 112 minutes now on the clock. It's starting to become now or never for the man from England.
Yeah, now's the time where you pretty much have to go gung ho for it. You have to start bringing players more forward, contributing your fullbacks more to the attack. It's something that has to be done because 8 minutes isn't a lot of time in FIFA terms. It goes in a split second at this level where the intensity is high. You just want to make sure that you have as many players forward to give you a chance to create an attack. If you do concede, it's obviously unfortunate, but you don't want to go out of a competition thinking that, damn, I should have maybe thrown a few more players forward to give me a better chance.
We can see that little attempted lofted pass like we were talking about a little bit earlier to try and beat that last man in defence, and now Lyrics is pushing up the pitch, trying to win that ball back. The only problem is there is going to be spaces in behind, and Van Dijk's going to have to do well to get across and deal with that. Deals with it initially. Unfortunately for him, it means that possession will still be in the hands of Diogo here. And for Lyrics, he needs to win this ball back, and he needs to win it back now. There's only just moments left in this game.
Yeah, Diogo has to just die down the clock here. It's something that's done at the top level, and as I said, it's not the best to see, but it has to be done here. You don't want to be giving away silly possession when you don't need to. It's just great to keep the ball. And if there is a chance, maybe you could go down the wing. You don't necessarily have to go for an attack, but just die down the ball in his half or in your opposition's half, just to make sure that he has less of a chance to counter-attack.
Well, here is that chance maybe. It's the last moments of this game. Lyrics needs to score here to keep this game alive, to keep his tournament alive, but the scoop turn cannot beat Virgil van Dijk. And unfortunately for Lyrics, that means that he will be out of the tournament. Congratulations here to Diogo. And it is that man, R9 Ronaldo, who scored that massive winning goal for him. You have to say, it was that one chance that separated the two players after the two mistakes that we saw in the first half. And Diogo, arguably deserved winner in that one.
No, you'd say Diogo did deserve it, but I'd say there wasn't a lot between the two of them to say that one person undisputedly deserved to win the game. It was a game where it consisted of a few errors that led to goals, and Diogo had a fantastic chance, which did lead to a fantastic goal to put him up, and he done well to defend to limit the chances.
Amazing stuff. Well, Ryan, absolute pleasure to commentate alongside you in that first game of the day, but for now we're going to send it back to Jimmy and the guys on the desk to break it all down.
Yeah, we take a look here at Diogo. He advances to the next round. I'm going to be honest, I'm a big fan of that hair. I wish I could make mine look very much the same. But yeah, I thought he overcame a bad goal there, a mistake that he made on the top of his box that led to Lyrics getting the 2-1 lead, but he immediately responds and then does the business in extra time. Spencer, what was your
אני אראה בינתיים את השידור כאילו בזמן של המשחקים, פשוט אני אבדוק את השם את
Well, what a start, first of all, to the proceedings here. The game goes a distance like that into extra time, of course. And we said there wasn't a lot to take between these two. We said, yeah, they're both kind of just outside the top names of the English scene, and I think the game delivered on that. You know, Diogo did really well to stay in there after behind, and well done to him for going through.
Okay, excuse me, Mike. Do you want to call out Spencer for this? He picked the wrong side of the fence.
I was just
שמתי אותם על השתיק בינתיים. יצא וידל? אני אעשה כבר סקיפ, זה לא מעניין, כבר לא מעניין אותי, אני מת. שמתי קו-אופ, זה מצחיק. וואי, הוא יצא טובה יש לו. And it's all about, this is all about. שמתי קו-אופ. מחפר. לא. גורלה נראה לי הולך לעשות הפתעה ולהגיע לגמר רובה מוטיבציה. מקווה אחי, מקווה. עכשיו יש את המשחק שלו נגד יומית הזה. מעניין איך יהיה, אני יודע. יש באיזה ביוסים משחק שני קיבלתי פרו. מי זה? איזה פרו? אם מישהו יכול גם להיות על השידור של ה-EA ולהגיד לי מתי מתחיל המשחק של ה... מתי מתחיל המשחק השני, שירשום לי פה. זה. גם תום סיים מלט אחד מינימום, חתום. Oh, I love. פארק שלו בא. מראים עכשיו את הזה של גורילה. את האינטרוויו שלו. אז כבר אחרי המשחק הזה נעביר לשידור שלהם. לא. מה יהיה? לא, שקוף. יואו. איזה פס. איך? בוא נראה. בואו נתחיל עם המשחק. יופי, פרש, אני מת. יאללה.
If you like, the second phase of his competitive FIFA career now. And it's just a question of whether he can get back to the top. You know, it seems ridiculous at 23 years old, but he is one of the elder statesmen of the group, and not necessarily in age, although he's certainly up there compared to some of the other youngsters, but in terms of experience, he's got more experience than most, particularly in the kind of Ultimate Team era. So it's just a question of whether he can get back to what he did before in terms of dominance, because he was the Tex. He was the first Tex, in my opinion. When I first got involved in FIFA esports, it was all about Gorilla. I knew all about the guys that had been prior. I had a lot of respect for that, but Gorilla was dominant, and everyone kind of acknowledged it. And without doing me a disservice, you know, he's my namesake after all. He's not at that level anymore. He hasn't, and it's very hard to get back to that level. There's no shame in it if he stays where he is now. He's still a fantastic FIFA player. But can he ever get it back? I don't know.
Now, Mike, I went through this in my own playing career. I'm
כולם לא תופסים מגורילה כי הוא
Is that it? Did I
גם
peak?
שחקן כזה התקפה,
Can I get to
לא
play
יודע.
another World Cup at 33?
כאילו לא תופסים ממנו כזה, לא יודע איך
Being
להסביר
on the
את
wrong
זה.
side of 30 doesn't work for you. But with regard to Gorilla, do you feel like maybe he has those thoughts in his brain that maybe I already peaked, maybe that was as good as it was ever going to get?
Well, we talked about, or we've mentioned here, how Gorilla may be putting additional pressure on himself. I actually believe because of all the accolades and the social following and the support and fandom he has, especially if you've been in the competitive scene from the beginning. If you've been around for quite a few years, it was all about Gorilla. People were like, who is this guy? I remember FIFA 15 and FIFA 16 where Gorilla was not beating people. He was thrashing. He was vicious. He showed no mercy. We're talking 5-6 goal spreads at pro events often. It was a regularity. Once you got matched up against Gorilla, you were just out of the tournament. You're like, it was a bad draw for me. And then, of course, going into winning in 2017. But I believe I think we're still going to see Gorilla win tournaments. Is he ever going to replicate the form from the past identically? I think we're just in a different time period. The game shifted. More competitors are competing than ever before. There's more money on their line. There's more motivation, and there's always new young players that are also coming into the mix. But I still believe in him definitely holding some trophies. I don't think that he's past that level of being able to achieve winning a big tournament. And then last year, I feel like because he did make the PvE World Cup, which is very unusual for Gorilla, I think he's more motivated than ever going forward.
People, just to jump in,
there you have it.
People had the same debate about Tiger Woods, right? I know it's a different sport and a different length of time, but my brother's a big golf fan. I was adamant Tiger Woods was done. I said, there's no way he's getting back. And what does he go and do? He wins the major, so and he's never going to necessarily win the amount of majors he did before, but he did make the comeback. So I'm always there for a comeback story. He can do it.
Is Gorilla the next Tiger Woods? You're going to find out right after this break as the FIFA 20 Summer Cup Series rolls on. Got a big one. Umut versus Gorilla coming up right after this.
Guys do whatever it takes to deal with shave irritation. So we reimagined the razor with the new Gillette Skin Guard. It has a unique guard between the blades that's designed to reduce irritation during a shave. Because we believe all men deserve a razor just for them. The best a man can get. Gillette.
יאללה, אמור להתחיל. כן, רק השנה יחסית התגלה כזה, והוא הגיע רחוק, אבל בוא נראה מה יהיה, הוא אמור להיות טוב, כאילו יהיה יריב כאילו קשוח. הוא לבוא ללחוץ גבוה כמו שהוא אוהב. כן, אני גם חושב. למרות שהשנה יחסית הוא שינה את הסגנון המשחק שלו. אבל לא יודע, בוא נראה. 3 דקות. 3 דק. הוא יפתיע, אני מת.
Guys do whatever it takes to deal with shave irritation. So we reimagined the skin guard. It has a unique guard between the blades that's designed to reduce irritation during the shave. Because we believe all men deserve a razor just for them. The best a man can get. Gillette.
תראה אותם בידל. לא יודע אחי, זה לא כל כך מעניין אותי.
The FIFA 20 Summer Cup Series Europe is presented by PS4 and brought to you in part by Turtle Beach. Be sure to follow @Turtle Beach on Twitter and stay tuned for a unique hashtag that you can tweet for your chance to win an Elite Pro 2 headset. Welcome back, everyone, to the Summer Cup Series Europe. I'm Jimmy Conrad alongside my BFF Spencer Owen and Mike LaBelle. And guys, let's just dive in to this next matchup. Umut, who really has just come out of nowhere this season, is taking on Gorilla, who's been around for many, many years. So let's take a look at the bracket and get everybody caught up on where we stand on that side of things. We'll take a look here. Now, Diogo just took care of business against Lyrics in the first one. Now it's the matchup to see who Diogo faces. Umut versus Gorilla. Now, Umut had a bye when this tournament started. He ended up beating Stokes and then losing to Oli Boli. And we'll take a good look at him here. Came out of nowhere. This is his big first year competition, but clearly he'd been practicing prior to this year. He's a console champion in Atlanta for Champions Cup 3, and then top 8 for Champions Cup 4. He'd had enough points that I think would have qualified him for the E-World Cup, and now he's joining us. Umut, thank you so much. How are you doing, my friend?
Hello.
Good to see your face. Good. So, doing great. So, I've studied your game. I've watched what you like to do, and I would like to think because you're so good at defending and you're so good at blocking the passing lanes and being very compact, that one might argue that you're the Jose Mourinho of FIFA 20. How do you feel about that statement?
I think my playstyle is like just in this Jose Mourinho's playstyle because I play very defense, and I think in FIFA 20 it's important to play very defense. So it's
position rats.
You're going up against another member of the Neo team, obviously having already played Stokes. Now you're going up against Gorilla. How have you prepared for this game? Obviously, we've already talked about how big a name Gorilla has been in the FIFA scene for the last few years. So what's your approach going to be?
Yeah, I think I practiced a lot for this game. I watched some games from Gorilla, and I can say he's a very good player, but I'm confident and I hope I can do it.
And there's so many players that are looking to get into the competitive scene. This being your rookie year and you're having so much success, you've made a huge name for yourself this year. What did it really take? What have you learned from this year for aspiring players?
I think I've learned that it's very important to be confident, and yeah, I think that's the important thing. So I So I am confident and I want to win this game because I hate to lose, and yeah.
Well, Umut, good luck. We hope that the Jose Mourinho of FIFA 20, the confident Jose Mourinho, finds a way to get a win in this match. And we wish you the very best. All right, now we're going to talk a little bit about his opponent, Gorilla. And what's interesting about him, outside of everything we've talked about, look at those accomplishments. The guy can do it and has done it over multiple years, which speaks to his consistency, is how he got here. He lost to Gravison in the first round of this match. Then he took down Damie, which was not an easy match. And then he beat Megabit to find himself in this one against Umut. Very talented player. He's joining us now. Gorilla, what is up, my friend?
Gorilla!
How are you? Good to see you.
I'm good. You?
Yeah, oh, look at this hair, face. It's all working for me. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. What, how do you
subjective,
prepare
Jimmy.
That's true, it is. How are you preparing for this one? Obviously, the circumstances are different than we might find ourselves in a big event in earlier years.
Yeah, I thought Diogo basically nailed it on earlier. It's not the same as an actual LAN tournament because you go in there, the environment, the travelling, obviously seeing everybody else, and the people that you're playing, you're actually there in person. So it's a little bit difficult trying to get into that mindset of this is a big game. But I think my loss to Gravestone, obviously, I didn't want it, but it took me a while to adapt to this scenario. And obviously in my game against Damie and Megabit, I played really good, but need to work on my defensive side of things. But yeah, been practicing the past couple of days, feeling good, and yeah, let's just see what happens.
My question for you, Gorilla, is, you know, no one could have been prepared for what's happened this year in the world, right? No one could have seen it coming. Doesn't matter if you've been a FIFA player for 1 year or 10 years, it's unprecedented times. However, you know, we heard Tom talking about it earlier and how keeping calm, using experience can be so important. In this crazy circumstance we find ourselves in, do you feel like you're well equipped, maybe better equipped to deal with these changing circumstances? To say, someone who's newer to FIFA and might feel like, oh, you know, I'm missing out on a great year for myself. You know, it's not about any 1 year; it's about a career, and you're already well into that career. So has that helped you prepare for a tournament like this?
I don't think so. Again, I think everyone's different. Everyone has their own personal situations, and I think some people might prefer to play at home. Some people might prefer to play at a tournament in terms of their performance will be better in different scenarios. But obviously, I've been playing competitive FIFA now since FIFA 15. Obviously, you know, this is kind of the first online tournament properly, like a first proper online tournament that I've competed in. So I feel like I'm in the same boat as many other people. But it's just I need to get into the game, and hopefully, if I start clicking, I'm confident. You know, it's just I need to get going. Once I'm in the game, things will start clicking. Hopefully, touch wood.
And I would always describe you as a LAN warrior, so to speak. You go to events. You've had so much success over going to those in-person events. What is the hardest thing to replicate? Obviously, you don't have an audience. You don't have us. Maybe you hear us in the backdrop. You're not seeing your opponent. But just to get that, I call it almost the players that really shine, including yourself, of course, in this conversation consistently. I feel like they're able to take that adrenaline and then apply it. Is there a way that you can replicate that from home?
It's difficult. I was playing friendlies, and I was speaking to my coach Zach, and I was playing friendlies against other pro players, and I just can't get into that mindset. I don't feel nervous. I feel a little bit nervous now going into the game, which is good for me. I like to feel the butterflies and stuff like that because I know it's a serious game, and sometimes, the majority of times when I'm feeling nervous, I play better, like I always say. But it's going to be very difficult to recreate that semi-final at LAN event, quarter-final against Tex, stuff like that. It's going to be very difficult to replicate that. Some people probably more can adjust to it a bit better. But for me, it's just getting into that game. Once the ball's kicked off and I'm zoned in, I know I'm playing over now. If I lose, I'm out. Once I get into that mindset, I'll be fine. But leading up to it, prior to the last 20 minutes, it doesn't really feel that serious. But now I'm about to head into it. It's starting to click for me.
Well, Gorilla, we wish you the very best of luck against the very confident Jose Mourinho, apparently, and it should be a good one to see if you can break him down.
זה הרוב ככה, רועד. כאילו, מה זה הרוב? יש כאלה שהם לחוצים, אז רועדות להם הידיים, ואז כאילו משחקים גרוע. אבל יש כאלה שזה מעלה להם את הרמה, אתה מבין מה אני מתכוון?
He can put his ear things, he can put mute on Mr. Gorilla, but quick predictions from you, Spencer.
I'm never going to go against the Gorilla. You know, I've been there from the beginning of his career. I've watched it with a lot of enjoyment over the years, and I know what he's capable of. Nothing against Umut, but I'm going to back Gorilla for this one, UKC.
I wish you would have came to me first, Jimmy. I wish you would have came to me first, because now I have to mirror Spencer. I don't think I have a gorilla bias. I've been there for so many years. I'm a FIFA enthusiast. I've always been into esports, and I think that he figures out ways to get the job done. And he's really good at adapting to different situations and scenarios, and he's proven that.
All right, well, you heard from these guys, you heard from me. Let's throw it over to our casters, Dan Gaskin and Aga Rosenmeyer. Guys, great to see your faces.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. Yeah, we get to watch a world champion, but I also get to commentate alongside a previous world champion as well. Aga, I mean, what are your initial thoughts on this matchup?
I think it's a super interesting matchup between two very different defensive control player, while Gorilla is more like super fluent attacking gameplay. So I feel like it's going to be a super interesting matchup.
And it's very easy for you to put yourself in kind of Umut's shoes here, because you have played Gorilla previously. 2015 Paris Games Week, I think you beat him 3-2. We're going quite back a few years now. What's it like going up against a player like Gorilla? Because he has such an attacking mentality, you surely must be quite scared about what he has to offer.
Well, back then, when he was really in his prime, as Mike LeBell said, you knew what was coming when you had to play against him, and it's so hard to stop. You know what's coming, and it's just impossible. He plays so fast, he's so fluent in his attacking gameplay. It's super hard, but Umut, I played him recently, actually. I played him in this season in a qualifier, and his defense is one of the greatest I've been playing against ever, so that is why I feel like it's a super interesting matchup.
It's so difficult when you've got a player who is more defensive and kind of focuses their game style on being that of a defensive style. I mean, the Jose Mourinho style that Jimmy was talking about. How do you approach a game then if you know a player is going to be defending and putting 10, 11 men behind the ball? Do you go all out attack, or do you almost have to counter it with a defensive style yourself?
I feel like you should never adjust too much and trust your own abilities, and I think Gorilla is going to do that. He is a player that doesn't go on any compromise with his own style. He had to adapt a little bit on this 20 because the meta is perhaps to keep the ball a little bit more and wait for the right opportunity, but I think he'll still follow his own game style and not try to adjust too much to
We've certainly seen in the tournament so far, I mean, Gorilla has taken out Dami, he's taken out Megabit, and he is looking more like the Gorilla of old. And I think that's quite exciting for me personally as a fan, because we used to see this kind of attacking style Gorilla with all the skill moves. And I wonder whether FIFA 20 slightly held him back a little bit with the reduced ability to be able to like chain skill moves together, and now we just kind of see the 2, maybe even 3. Do you think that Gorilla has done all he can with FIFA 20 here, and we're going to maybe see him progress and get better in potentially FIFA 21, or do you still think there's something here for him in this tournament?
I think there's definitely opportunities for him. I mean, I've been having Gorilla as a rival for many years, not as much the latest year. We didn't have the opportunity to play, and perhaps other players have been more dominant. But I would describe him with a very hard grinding player. He always grinds so hard and practice so hard. So I feel like he's one of the most well-prepared competitors in this tournament.
Well, we are amidst the game now. It is another losers bracket game, so losers goes home. It's going to be Gorilla attacking from left to right in the red strip, whereas we're going to have Umut in the white strip from right to left. And a real opportunity for one of these two to potentially have a big run in this tournament. Of course, we have Diogo waiting for them in the lower bracket. That will be the next opponent and the prize for winning this game. But certainly a tough matchup for both of these players, especially when you consider they are two entirely different players as well. One definitely more known for his attacking, the other for his defending. But in the early stages, I mean, Umut is the one who has been pressing. Neymar on the ball now is just trying to find on the edge of the box. Kevin De Bruyne will just get a little bit of a half drag back, but not going to work out on this occasion.
Yeah, and a great start for Umut, showing that he's capable of doing something offensively as well, trying to ask questions to Gorilla's defense. I like it, and I believe that Umut is a player who hasn't spoken enough about this season. He had his breakthrough, but he's so unimpressed the way he's playing. He's very calm when you speak with him, and I really think that he has a great opportunity in this matchup.
Of course, it was Atlanta in the FUT Champions Cup where we saw Umut just rise through the ranks and shock us all, where he got to a cross-console final, only just losing out to Oli Lito. but certainly put his stamp on the FIFA Global Series.
גורילה
And I wonder
הוא
whether he can do the same here
טוב
with the Summer
התקפית,
Cup,
אבל
and,
הוא ממש
I'm
לפי
excited to see what
דעתי
he has to offer, but certainly in
ממש
these
טוב
early
הגנתית.
stages, I mean, plenty of possession, really trying to break down the line of Gorilla right now as the ball just being played across to Halle.
אני לא יכול להכין, לא יכול. אבל מה רואים טוב ככה?
Gorilla just hasn't been able to get his way into the game so far.
כי... לא, זה לא מסך מלא. אבל זה חצי מסך מלא. כי אם אני אשים מסך מלא, אני לא יכול לשים את הצ'אט. אני רוצה לראות את הצ'אט. הם רואים ככה טוב, לא?
If I had to say one thing about Gorilla, which was his key strength in every other game than FIFA 20, it was this pressing. It's just harder to press now, and sometimes you could get a little bit too eager to get that ball fast back so you can launch a new attack. And perhaps it's something that Umut has analyzed a bit on and will try to take advantage of.
Wow, is a goal.
Well, certainly the patience paying off for Gorilla there, and he gets the opener just out of nowhere. Neymar striking it home. And it was a very slow and steady build-up, just as you were saying, how he needs that little bit of patience, Agat. And Gorilla now, after being on the back foot for the opening 15 minutes, he's found himself a goal ahead here.
Yeah, great play then here. As we know Gorilla, when he's in his best form, quick attacking gameplay, a lot of combinations with the passing, and of course these skill moves, finding his striker, and yeah, it's 1-2.
1-0, and maybe this is going to be the confidence that Gorilla needed to just really get shooting into this matchup as he's starting to have more of the possession and certainly is starting to look more free-flowing going forward. Confident on the ball as well as he plays it across to Hullet, now in the centre of the pitch, finds Mbappe on the edge of the box, is R9, but just can't quite get past Hullet. And I think that's the defence we'd expect of Umut. And I guess my question to you, Aga, is how important is it to take a goal lead against a player with a defensive style?
I think it's definitely in this specific matchup. I think this was very important for Gorilla to get the lead because that we at least presume that Gorilla is perhaps a little bit better attacker than Umut, also in terms of where you put your focus on, in terms of your gameplay. So the perfect start for Gorilla, and for Umut, obviously some work has to be done now.
Yeah, I mean, for all we say about the attacking ability of Gorilla, he has a defensive one as well, but he is just ruthless when going forward.
אין דילי נראה לי, אין דילי נראה לי במצלמה.
Into the back of the net.
אין דילי נראה לי
just can't seem to control these dribble passes from across the pitch as Neymar gets his second of the game.
We've got to applaud Gorilla for that counter attack. Here we see how well he is using this shooting feint where you get this little speed boost and you cut in.
כן, אין דילי, נכון? כן.
And yeah, he breaks through on the wings. Then he finds a great run from the central. And then it's 2-0 now. Amazing. And as we know Gorilla, that is his strength, these counter-attacks.
Well, Umut certainly has had the better tournament so far in terms of he was able to get a little bit further in the winner's bracket than Gorilla did. He did beat Stokes but then lost out to Oli Bolly, and that's why he finds himself in this lower bracket now. So he hasn't played as many games as Gorilla in this particular tournament. He's scored 9 and conceded 7. And we're going to have to see some sort of attacking ability from Umut now. It's on the flip side when we're talking about Gorilla and how he attacks and how he's also good at defending. We need to see the attacking ability from Umut. We need to see what he can do going forward, as that one just unfortunately
יובל, אח שלי, הכל בסדר. שמח שאתה פה. בשידור, אתה לא חייב לכתוב אחי, הכל טוב. כן, היה דילי, כאילו היה דילי במצלמה, בסכרון של המצלמה, וזה קצת מעצבן, קצת עצבן, סליחה. אבל בסדר, לא נורא. היה משחק טוב, הגיע להערכה, היה משחק טוב.
Yeah, of course, that 5-star weak foot is so important on so many of these items now, and with Foot Birthday, with Summer Heat coming into the equation, team of the season so far, we've seen just so many huge items being added to the game that have made such an influence. As Ronaldo now just trying to beat the man, but he's going to have to go back to the fullback as the centre of the pitch finds Neymar, the player who's managed to get 2 goals so far.
מחכה להתקפה האחרונה של המחצית.
More than happy to hold it a little bit and wait as he plays up to R9 on the edge of the box. But he just says no, I don't need to force anything here. Instead he flicks one up, take the volley. but certainly as we get to the conclusion of this first half, it has all been
עצר
Gorilla in
אותו.
the latter
כן,
stages
אמבפה.
here, Aga, and
הוא לפי
I
לחימה.
think you'll be very
רוץ.
happy with this opening
Aye.
performance, don't you think?
Definitely. I mean, Umut got a great start the first 10 virtual minutes, but after that, Gorilla just started this counter machine. And the way he moves the ball and the pace, it's super impressive. And as well as when get the chance, he's clinical.
And from what we've seen so far, I mean, in terms of like formations and structure and how both these players have been building up, is there anything you think Umut needs to do here, Aga, to get back into this second half?
I wouldn't change too much for now. If I were Umut, I think he will give his tactics a bit more time. Maybe he's in a process adapting to the way Gorilla plays, because he do really have his own unique style of
אי אפשר ללמוד,
Gorilla.
אני מת.
And it's easy to get like.
הנה, הוא מתחרה ברמות הכי גבוהות, הנה גול. הנה גול, בבקשה.
Oh, and that's gonna
אחלה
be a
גורילה.
third as well. I mean, you say he's direct. He is just managing to pummel Umut now
Saftan.
at this point. Absolutely relentless. He has not taken his foot off the pedal whatsoever. That's going to be a third. And they're just starting to look so simple now, these goals.
Exactly, Dan. And I actually have like a rule when I'm playing a best of two at global events. When we play the first matchup, the main rule for me is if I'm losing with one, the maximum I can lose with in the first game is two, because otherwise it's so hard to come back and always.
Almost a chance there for Eusebio, but it is just cut out. And you're completely right. I mean, just having your kind of rule of thumb, how you're going to approach a game as a player is very important, Aga. But at the moment for Umut, it doesn't seem like whatever he can do, it just seems to be cancelled out by Gorilla. Is potentially another chance here. Neymar stops up, but can't quite beat Sergio Ramos, and it is going to go out for a corner. And if this one ends up being 4, 5, 6 in this first leg, we could potentially already be looking at Gorilla progressing, because honestly, as it stands right now, I can't see a way for him to get back into things unless he really changes up a gear.
Definitely, I mean, right now it's one-way traffic, and really, in some sessions of the game, it looks like the
גורילה אף פעם
old
לא שנן לפי
say
דעתי.
that way. I mean, it's
כי גם אם הוא עכשיו מוביל 3-0, הוא עדיין ירצה לשים גול ועוד גול ועוד גול. הוא לא מעלה שאננים.
Mbappe on the edge of the box just can't quite
אני
beat the
מכיר
man
אותו,
as
לא
well,
כזה.
but you are completely
כאילו, מה זה
right.
מכיר אותו לא כזה?
We
כאילו,
want to see
לפי
this
העבר
aggressive
שלו.
Gorilla, the best of Gorilla
יופי
return.
כדור.
He's got such a huge fan base, but that ball just not quite reaching the man on the right-hand side. And for Umut, I mean, he's known for his defensive style, and he's also known for kind of a slow, paceless build-up, but maybe just needs to inject a little bit of pace here as Neymar on the
חשוב לו
left-hand
לשחק
side
בו
finds
במשחק.
Mbappe. He's twisting and turning, but can't quite get past the man again. And it seems like any direction that Umut goes,
הוא
Gorilla
משחק עם
seems to
אמבפה
have
עם
an answer
הולדת
for.
או אמבפה טוץ? מישהו יודע?
Yeah, definitely.
לא שמתי לב.
I think that it's very few players.
טוב, פה נגיד
can
חשוב
actually
שהוא לא הלך
play
קדימה
in the
להתקפה.
same tempo as Gorilla can. So if you start trying to play very fast gameplay against
נראה לי
him,
אופסייד?
you'll often lose or get
No,
run
אין
over
offside.
because
אין
he's just
offside.
like it's going to be on his premises.
יש פה גול, יש פה גול. יש פה גול.
So yeah, let's
יש פה גול.
Neymar, and it's gonna be a fourth. Sorry to cut you off, Aga, but honestly, Gorilla is just
Let's go.
destroying Umut at this point, and no wonder we've gone to the pause screen. I mean, what is the answer? Like, if you're in Umut's shoes right now, you just have to take a breather.
Yeah, this is starting to look very hard to come back from Umut. He needs to change something. For me, oftenly I'm trying to say to myself, because I've been in the exact same situation.
גמור, איך תדע אחי, ברמות האלה לא, ברמות האלה זה לא גמור עדיין. ברמות האלה זה לא גמור, פתאום, פתאום הוא שם פה 4-1, 3 הפרש, משחק הבא הוא שם עוד 2 גולים מוקדם. אתה מבין, זה לא גמור עדיין. רדבול מעניינים אחי, מה קורה? שמח שחזרת אחי.
I mean, absolutely, I certainly agree with that mentality. I would much rather see Umut go for this one than just try and save face and make it a somewhat respectable scoreline, as Cruyff will be challenged on the edge of the box here. And this is going to be a free kick in a pretty dangerous situation. A lot of different techniques for different players, but usually we just see the ball rolled across. Sometimes it's flicked up and an attempted volley. And you see free kicks hit direct less and less at the moment as Hullet steps over the board. It's just going to be a pass across to Hullet, but unfortunately can't get past his counterpart. Otherwise that was a potential chance for Uma as we tick over into the 71st minute now. Uma with a little bit more pressure and a couple more chances, but still yet again he can't get past the blockade that Gorilla seems to be setting up as the counter-attack has potential here. Mbappe is stretching his legs on the right-hand side, but can he find the ball? He says no. I don't want to. I'm going to stick with Carlos Alberto here. And now he can look to just play the ball through the middle of the park again. He doesn't need to rush anything. He has complete dominance of this game at this point. As now Hullet on the edge of the box. Little half drag back doesn't quite beat the man.
איך קוראים לאתר שאתה רואה בו את המשחק? טוויץ' אחי, טוויץ'.
Gorilla right now, trying to be more and more creative on the last half of the pitch, and that just showed how much he believes in himself, how much he's feeling it right now. And when he has this move, he's pretty unstoppable.
And that is a very scary factor when Gorilla is playing in this way, but maybe there's a saving grace in this first half. First leg just yet for Uma. Of course, as a reminder, there is still a second leg that is on the cards, but yet again cut out just as he gets into that danger zone. Now Gorilla can look to go on a counter-attack as he pings one across to Carlos Alberto. And actually, Gorilla has queued up a pause here, so maybe just opting to get a couple of fresh legs on the pitch here, Aga.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the things that Gorilla really succeeded with in this game is that he's been very good at breaking through.
יש פה גול, יש פה גול ברדום. איזה יופי, איזה יופי.
Time again. I mean, yeah, just as you say that, he's done exactly the same thing, Aga.
המצלמה שגורילה, כן. אתה יודע, הוא משחק זה טלה ברודקאסט, אבל עם זום ו-i 0-0. כאילו בקטע כזה.
I don't know how high Umut's backline is, but there's been so much
כן, עם הרולט הענק פה,
his backline and putting his cam or his actually also we saw Frankie de Jong, his center mid down to take these runs, and then it's just easier for Gorilla to score, and now it's starting to it's basically impossible, I think, to come back from this game.
I mean, this doesn't look like a normal game of FIFA 20 with a scoreline like this, but I guess that is what someone with the skills and experience of Gorilla and what he has to offer is maybe there is still something for Uma. He certainly needs just any sort of hope going into this second leg, a little bit of a confidence builder, maybe if you can secure a goal, maybe Croy finds a pass into Virgil van Dijk.
אבל נשאר לראות את המשחק השני בוודאי.
Advantage of this high press from Uma. Cruyff striding forward, also has a man to the left and right of him. Plenty of options for Gorilla right now, and realistically, if you're you are in Uma's shoes here, you're just trying to survive this first leg and hoping that maybe the second leg momentum will shift in his favor.
Definitely. I mean, it's looking nearly impossible, but you just have to try to let go and just gamble everything to get back into the game.
Well, he certainly isn't going to get back into this first leg, and we go into leg number 2 because Gorilla has just been dominating here. He has a 5-0 lead, and as the first leg of this match concludes, I just want to remind you all that this is just the first leg of the FIFA 20 Summer Cup series as well. We have the top-ranked competitors from 5 other major regions around the globe, and they're also going to be fighting to be crowned king of their continent. Who's going to reign supreme and dominate their corner of the planet? Just stay tuned on twitch.tv/EA Sports FIFA or on
footchampions.com to
catch all of the
נשארו אחרי זה, נשארו איזה 2 משחקים נראה לי.
different regions going to play up against each other. I love that we've got FIFA esports back. But talk me through that first leg. I mean, there's not much else to say apart from Gorilla is back.
Wow, I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen a competitive game on this level. Let me just remind you, it's the best players in Europe and in the world we have here. So to be able to win the first match 5-0 against one of the best players on the PS4, Gorilla is even usually playing on Xbox. So to do it in this manner on his away console, wow, lost for words. That was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, Gorilla doesn't really have the experience of going up against Uma because they're on different consoles, but for Uma, who has been known as such a defensive player, and he wasn't able to get that first goal, he wasn't able to get that lead, realistically now, at 5-0 down, are we hopeful for any potential comebacks, or do we think that this second leg is just going to be chalk now and Gorilla is just going to steamroll this one?
I'm always trying to be positive, Dan, but I just don't think it's possible, right? At the way that Gorilla is playing, I think it could be like a big score in Gorilla's advantage for the second match, but maybe he can just like stop it, Umut, and try to just control the game a bit more. But again, Gorilla's gonna win overall.
So let's say that you're playing in this game and you're having a 5-0 lead. Do you continue to go for goals and you want to make it 6, you want to make it 7, or as we start this second leg now, do you just say, I'm going to control this game, I'm going to slow things down just to ensure that nothing goes wrong and I don't make any mistakes?
I think if I were in Gorilla's shoes, I would play the game smart. Don't take any risks. Don't give any hope of making a comeback of dreams. But if I know Gorilla, he just wants to score more and more goals. He just wants to prove a point and just gain more and more confidence for the upcoming rounds for him, because it certainly looked like he's going to progress to the next round.
Well, Gorilla is an entertainer and he is still flowing forward here, but Sergio Ramos wins that little bit of a scuffle on the edge of the box, but Neymar has been able to regain possession for Gorilla, who yet again is going to be in the red and again is looking like he just wants to score goal after goal and maybe make a statement to his next competitor if he is to go through, which, I mean, at the moment it looks like it's going to be that way. He would be facing off against Diogo, who, if you didn't witness earlier, he took down Lyrics in a very closely contested game that went to extra time, as Uma unfortunately is going to be offside there. And realistically, for Gorilla now, I mean, he knows that he has this game in his hands and he doesn't want to make any mistakes, but I think the fact that he is a showman, he does like to display his talents, means we are going to see more goals in this game. I just don't know which way it's going to go in terms of, are we going to see Uma make a little bit of a comeback, or are we going to see Gorilla continue to smash them home?
Yeah, definitely. Like, for now, it just looks like the Gorilla is going to score more goals, to be honest. Like, it's not only the fact that he's combining the skill moves with passes and ankles so well. I mean, we see the health dragbacks and a pass in the health drag. Gorilla's using it a lot, which is super efficient in order to play in small areas.
גולה שחקן שפשוט כיף לראות. כן, כאילו, הוא עושה סקילים, אבל הוא עושה סקילים כאילו לא מוגזמים, ברמה מחושבת כזאת.
It's certainly very difficult, and I mean, I guess we can only look at what we've seen before us so far, and it's been a couple of defensive mistakes from Uma, which has allowed Gorilla to dominate, and that's not something we're used to seeing from Uma. After his impressive ability where he really shone in Atlanta, he showed us how to defend, but I guess that shows just the power of Gorilla. He forces these mistakes out of his opponents, but can't quite find a sixth there. Tried to go for a little finesse shot around the goalkeeper, but on this occasion, it's still just going to be 5-0.
Yeah, and Umut has to take decent risk now and push up with his defenders, which will give Gorilla a lot of space on the counter attacks. But you have to try, and I respect that in terms of just giving up, so to speak. Like, try not to lose with too much. Instead, he's actually trying. We see a lot of players trying to get the ball back for Umut, and we see him try to push up with his defenders in order to get the ball super good place.
Well, skill moves starting to be pulled out now from Gorilla as he's really feeling this second leg and maybe just wanting to put on a bit more of a show for us, as Neymar on the edge of the box is going to find the pass over to Dion. Hullet waiting there, but fortunately just plays it into the opposition Hullet. And now this is where Uma really needs to stretch his legs. Got several players on both wings that were there running, but he just can't beat the defense of Gorilla. Gorilla stepping up at the right times and really utilising the defensive force he has at the moment. I mean, Van Dijk has been so strong for him, but here comes Gorilla again, just looking relentless. Neymar on the edge, can't get past Ramos. I mean, in terms of like player selection and formations, it all looks relatively normal and what we would expect to see, right, Agger?
Definitely. But I mean, in terms of what we usually see when two professional players match up against each other, like the game has been super fast and super back and forward, if you ask me, which I didn't really expect that much would happen. I would still expect it to be a close match, but for now, Gorilla's just getting the game to the way he wants it to play, and that's why he's in lead.
Of course, plenty of money on the line for these players as well. Unfortunately, that's going to be an offside for Gorilla. 15,000 available for first place in this tournament, which is not bad for sitting at home and playing a little bit of FIFA, as Gorilla certainly looks like he's going to be marching on the way it stands, unless we really see something completely miraculous and different from Uma. As in the centre of the park at the moment, Hullet versus Hullet is just going in favour of Gorilla, and he is just controlling this game. He knows that if he makes a mistake, it potentially allows Uma back into this, but instead he's playing it so smart, again showing his intelligence as R9 going to find the ball towards the edge of the box here. Neymar now on the ball, trips it over. It's going to be Mbappe, could strike it on the right, but a great save from Courtois.
Yeah, and Gorilla's playing it perfect right now because he's not like time wasting. He's keeping the ball, but he's still always threatening Umut, like making Umut feel that I can go down and score right now if I want to. And it's a very hard balance when you have a lead, that you don't start to just keep the ball without a purpose. Gorilla's doing both things right now, which is like super controlled, and something that
something that could happen, I guess, is with all that control, one just manages to get snuck in from behind, just as we were talking, Aga. I mean, that is at least a lifeline for Uma, even though it is still a very, very big mountain to climb. That's going to give him some confidence to get back into this game.
Definitely, and I mean, perhaps Gorilla also slowed down a bit, which can happen like such a big lead in the first of two matches. You start to focus more on staying compact, and I think it's something that Gorilla also have been working on, because back in the days it was always like the best defense is more goals was the DNA for him, and it seems that he's becoming better and better to actually control a match as well, just defend the lead. We see the possession as well.
וואלה, לא ראיתי את הגול, לא ראיתי את הגול.
I mean, I like what you touched upon, just saying that Gorilla, he's not time wasting, he's just kind of controlling possession and still showing a presence in the game to say to him, hey, like, I've got the ability to still score against you, so don't get too comfortable with just chasing me down. But Uma has been able to get one back here, and I mean, 4 goals still in 45 minutes is a very difficult task. But did we see a little bit of promise there?
אחרי המשחק הזה נסגור את השידור, אני רעב, אני מת לאכול.
I mean, it's a start.
תודה רבה ל-11 צופים שפה, באמת מעריך את זה מאוד.
If you can say it that way, it's still a very, very big mountain to climb. But it can give you some small hope, and as long as there are virtual minutes to play, you'll still go forward.
There was almost possibility for Eusebio to get through there, but yet again Gorilla knowing where to be positioning these defenders as he has possession on the right hand side, but gives it away. Does need to be a little bit more careful with a couple of these passes, because even though it is a 4-goal deficit that Umut finds himself in, there is still time. It's not a lot of time, but I've seen it happen, and I've seen crazier things go down. But maybe Gorilla wants to try and put this game to bed. As Cristiano Ronaldo on the left-hand side just has a little fake shot, gets a little bit of a boost, but Sergio Ramos, almost working as a second goalkeeper there, will keep Gorilla at just the 5 goals.
And yeah, as we can see, Umut is really trying everything, risking everything in defense, just pulling out his fullback here, leaving so much space for Gorilla. You have to try to like tempt Gorilla to go forward as well, and try to get him down to actually to your pitch, and make him attack so you can get the ball back. And it's a tempting game sometimes, and Umut is trying.
Certainly right. I mean, it sounds weird, it sounds counterproductive, but that is sometimes the way you have to play. You almost have to kind of get the red out and just offer it to the ball and say, hey, come and get me, paint yourself red, and let them make the mistakes, let them push up, let them look for that 6th goal. But at the moment, Umit's having quite a spell of possession here. Is on the ball, will play out R9 to Eusebio, a little back heel, doesn't get past Virgil van Dijk, but starting to see certainly more chances pop up for Umit here, but nothing solid and nothing that really threatens Gorilla's chances of getting through. If I'm completely honest, I think at some point, now we've ticked into the 60th minute, I think Gorilla will look to make a couple of changes and see if he can take advantage of maybe tired defenders at the back.
Definitely, and I think also...
touch your knee. Anak.
Is a chance. Plays it out to the right to Mbappe, and that's going to be the sixth, and that's probably going to be the game, Agate.
Go to the bed.
Yeah, I think it was over before this, but overall my point was that we've seen Umut probably using this team pressure, which also makes your players more tired the more you come into a match. And when Gorilla subs in new players, you just have fresh energy to run away from him, and we kind of saw it there, combined with Umut obviously risking everything in the defense. We have seen the fullbacks and the centre back been put very much out of position throughout the entire second game.
Cristiano Ronaldo tries a croqueta around Mendy, and it's only going to go as far as Van der Sar's palms as he pushes it away for a corner. As Umut, it's now or never if he is realistically going to get back into this one, but I think we all know it's a foregone conclusion at this point. And with that being said, Aga, I mean, the winner playing against Diogo, it's a chance for Gorilla and Diogo to go up against each other, two very attacking players who are not scared to go at each other's throats. Where do you see that one going? I mean, I can ask you for an early prediction, but that surely is going to be a nail-biter of a
אבל נראה לי זה היום, זה נראה לי יהיה מחר.
Yeah, I think it's going to get closer than this match. These guys certainly also know each other a bit more, I reckon. They're both on Xbox usually. That is going to be an interesting matchup. I mean, it's hard to count Gorilla out after we see this attacking play.
Well, just as we say that, there is a second consolation for Umut that goes in there. R9 getting himself on the end of it, and I mean R9, that item is absolutely phenomenal, and for me, when I've used it, it certainly feels like if I press shoot from anywhere it seems to go in, but I know that's not the case, and I know it takes far more skill than that. I'm just a scrubby Gold 1 player, and that's about as far as I get, maybe a couple of elites, but 2-1, at least Umut has shown face, and he's shown that he can actually combat what Gorilla has to offer in this second leg. I just think this game was won in leg number 1. As now Gorilla yet again is just playing the ball around the pitch and dominating the possession, trying to starve Umut of any chances. As Mbappe twists and turns towards the edge, and he has a couple of players to go to, but R9 tracks back, and he will at least make something of this. But yet again, we're seeing from Gorilla just relentless pressure to win the ball back.
Yeah, and one of his greatest attributes as well, Gorilla.
Goal, better.
As the slide doesn't quite come through, and you're right. I mean, that's what Gorilla has to offer, right? He is just relentless, and he is attacking-minded, and he just wants to get into the face of his opponent, doesn't he?
Definitely. I mean, if I had to put 3 keywords on the way I think is Gorilla's strengths, is the pace in his his pressing play is out of this world. It is so good, and you're so stressed all the time you have to ball.
הוא משחק מושלם נגד הלחץ שלו, האמת, הוא משחק מושלם. עם הנעת כדור הזאת והחטיפות המהירות.
And maybe a somewhat difficult question for you is this game just kind of rides its way out now. I mean, is there anything you saw from Umut that maybe he did wrong to allow Gorilla to take such a commanding lead in that first leg, or is this a case of Gorilla was just better?
I think Gorilla has been by far the best player in these two matchups, but I think what could have done better is his manual player switching and positioning of his back line, especially in the first match. I think that his fullbacks were way too much out of position, or in too many sequences where Gorilla could just send the through ball down the wing and cut it in and score.
Yeah, maybe a couple of defensive errors that Gorilla was really able to take advantage of, as the ball will go out for a corner, and it's probably going to be one of the last kicks of the game here, as it's a 7-2 aggregate lead for Gorilla. Referee will allow one more corner, but it is going to be Neo's Gorilla marching on to the next round in a very dominant performance where he really just didn't allow Uma to get into this game whatsoever. Last kick will go to Van der Sar as he puts it out, but what a performance that was from Gorilla. Uma just wasn't in the game whatsoever, especially the first leg. I mean, credit to him for making a better game of it in leg number 2.
אני אסגור את השידור, תודה רבה לכל מי שהגיע לשידור, אוהב אתכם חברים. מחר אני גם כנראה אשדר. שידרתי 3.5 שעות, 3:40. אוהב אתכם חברים. ביי אוהד, ביי אחי, תודה רבה שהייתם פה כל השידור כמעט, אני באמת מעריך את זה. אני אתן לך מוד, היית פה, אני זוכר לך פה כל השידור אחי, באמת מעריך את זה מאוד, כי זה שידור מאוד ארוך וזה לא מובן מאליו. הבאתי לך מאוד אחי, תודה רבה על הכל, וזהו, נתראה בשידור הבא חברים, כנראה מחר נשדר, לא יודע, צהריים, אחר הצהריים, משהו כזה, וזהו חברים.